Tonight, we're talking about one of the worst tragedies and arguably one of the worst species to ever befall the expanded universe, Star Wars Galaxy.
I hope our voice levels are good. Chad, how's our voice levels?
Divvy twist. No, I'm not. Also, vaping is restrained. You see a group of gangsters smoking, and you walk by and you smell strawberry pina coladas. Yeah, vaping is kind of weird.
True.
Stuff with Leviathan. What?
Have you ever hit a vape before?
No, I've never smoked anything.
Not a cigar or anything? Oh.
What's up, everyone? Welcome to another Wizard episode of the Empire Radio Podcast. I'm Andrew.
I'm Jeremiah.
I'm Drew.
And tonight is another installment of the EU with Andrew series. And I am pleased to announce that this topic was chosen by none other than the EU's greatest enemy himself, the man who always says it doesn't matter, Jeremiah.
I like that you said
what I've heard of this topic tonight is something that's always intrigued me. So
yeah,
I think it's a cool story. And so I want to know more about it. So.
Yeah, it was actually funny. He was like, yeah, so we were planning our episodes. And he was like, so yeah, we're going to do EU with Andrew this night. And I was like, yeah, okay, this is cool. And then like right away, he was like, hey, can you talk about the Yuuzhan Vong? And I was like, yeah, sure. If
right.
Jeremiah wants to do it, then I'm going to be here for that. So yeah, so we're talking about the Yuuzhan Vong tonight. So
awesome.
get pumped for that. It's funny. I learned a lot about them today. I've never actually read the books.
Really?
No, because it's like hold on. I'm gonna actually look this up.
So we need our fact checkers in the chat to really.
I mean, there's 17 people in the chat right now. They're kind of popping off. So
yeah.
Ooh.
Y'all been missing us.
The reason why I haven't read them is because the whole story happens over a whole series of books. And I'm not talking like this is like a trilogy. No, there are, how many of them? 19 novels.
What the heck?
What the?
Yeah. So it's called the New Jedi Order series. I didn't remember the exact numbers. I had to look it up, but it's called the New Jedi Order series, and it's literally 19 like young adult novels.
Like you have like 18 slides, don't you? So like it's like one book per slide.
No, it's not. There's a lot of summarizing going on. So that's the reason why I haven't read them. But I learned a lot about them just from like watching Star Wars EU lore videos and stuff like that. And then I have somewhere over there in the bookshelf the official reader's companion written by Pablo Hidalgo. And obviously they give a summary of every book. Like they go through every book in the expanded universe at that time and give a summary and like the locations they visit and stuff like that. Cool. And sometimes I find myself just reading through that for fun.
Awesome.
Because it's really interesting. So if you know anyone that has the whole set of those books and wants...
Give them a high five. What?
Supposed to give me a Christmas present.
Oh.
Let me know. We can talk.
Would you actually read all those?
Yeah.
You have that much time?
No. I mean, it would take me like...
bro, you're like...
It would take me like 6 months to read that. Like, I read...
That's pretty good. 6 months is not that long.
I'll read about an hour, if not an hour and a half a night, if I've got a good book.
If you're not playing video games.
Well, yeah, I was going to say KOTOR took that time for a few weeks. So, but now I'm reading the Thrawn book. So, yeah. Anyways, so that's what we're talking about. Man, the chat is... the chat's popping off tonight. Apparently, I have a bad nicotine habit, which is not true.
Yep. Yes.
Who has the best beard? Ewan McGregor. That's true.
Ewan McGregor. I think Ethan was asking out of us, but then
Oh,
Daddy Palps was like Ewan McGregor, and no one's arguing. So
yeah.
let's go with that.
Andrew's beard wins for the color. Thank you to View Twist. I don't know how the red
Okay.
happened. I like no one in my immediate family has red hair, but it's a thing. So that's cool.
It's a
That
single
hilt LED lightsaber looks so yeah, don't talk about my lightsaber in the background. Welcome to another civilized episode of Empire Radio. LOLOL. You can get all 19 on Amazon for $220. That is a lot of money when I could get the Black Series Darksaber for $275.
weird flex. Don't go do the Wait, series or did you? Yes, get the Black Series.
What?
I don't.
Said
I
the
thought
dark
you
saber.
The Darksaber,
Yeah.
which just dropped like
Black Series.
a few days ago. Yeah.
Speaking of Hasbro, did you see that announcement today,
No.
No.
Andrew?
No.
They pulled the Rancor. It's not getting made.
They didn't fund it.
It didn't get funded.
No, sad.
I was really sad about it.
How short were they?
Well, Rancors are pretty tall.
That's not what I meant.
You're welcome.
I think they're short.
No, View Twist. Andrew did not have a baby.
No, what?
Also, speaking of, Ethan says, I'm a ginger. Maybe Andrew is actually my dad. No,
Ooh.
that is not
Nope.
the thing.
All right, we're going on Maury Empire style. Let's go.
We're going on Tarkin, the Tarkin show.
Tarkin show. All right, but we should
Yeah,
move on.
so Hasbro did not fund Rancor for actually real Star Wars news. So if you were sad, I got a refund today. I was really sad.
Oh, you backed it?
That was the first backing I've ever done,
Oh, wow.
and I was really depressed. But yeah,
I actually forgot that they did Bring Home the Bounty today. Again, they did another announcement. Was there anything good in that? I'm looking at it right now, but the images won't load. So,
well, I did post in our Instagram. Go check that out if you guys don't know. We have an Instagram. Go check that out. But they're doing a Funko Pop of the first episode of Visions, the duel, and it's a black and white Funko Pop.
No.
It's super sick
With a red saber.
Stop.
It's super sick.
Are you serious?
I tagged you in it, Andrew, on Instagram. I was
Bro,
like,
I haven't looked at
I do
Instagram
not want to
once
buy
today.
Funko Pops, LOL, because now I'm gonna have to buy that.
Oh,
And then-
stop.
Yeah, and then they're also doing, I think the twins, some anime figurine people are making those.
Does it have
figures.
the California Saber?
I hope so.
Not that I saw, but I'm kind of disappointed. And then they announced that
That's
they're gonna
that's an accessory you have to buy. The lightsaber blade.
it's just
It
like
comes in its own
giant-
packaging, and it's like a 3 feet long.
yeah,
scale,
it's like
yeah.
a normal size lightsaber.
Yeah.
And then there's this Boba Fett I have. You guys can't see if you're listening, but it's like the Boba Fett with all the accessories. They're doing the same thing with the Boba Fett from the show. Hasbro's
Sweet.
dropping that Black Series. It's pretty cool.
That's awesome. All right, I'm still holding out for the
Then we'll
last
buy
week.
Drew's Funkos.
I'm holding out for the last week because I really hope that the little emblem that they have includes a Stellan Geos Black Series Saber, and if it does, mark my words, I'm going to buy it.
Okay.
I'm going to
You heard
pre-order
it
it.
here first.
So,
Heard it here first.
Boba Fett?
Pre-order.
Wow, we got Boba Fett's
Fett,
popping
Boba
off
Fett,
in the
Boba
chat.
Fett.
Anyways, all right. It's the season that keeps on giving, aka Christmas season, and that also means a new set of giveaways / contests from cufflinks.com. And we are here before we get into the E with Andrew segment to talk about the winner for last week's giveaway. So Jeremiah, this one was pretty much all about you.
It was close to my heart.
It was close to your heart. So I'm going to hand it over to you. Take us on an emotional journey.
All right, so the prompt was, in 10 sentences or less, rewrite the first half of A New Hope so it's not trash. And this is our biggest participation because we had the most amount of people, like basically as many as people that tried for the first three, like probably was the same as what for just a single one. So we had a lot of entries.
So what is that, like 4?
No, I think I had, like,
You should.
Way to
That's an insult to
diss
your
our-
company right now. So
our
don't even.
listeners.
What?
But I had like about 15 submissions, I think, or something like that.
Oh,
That's almost as many people are in the chat, but there's more.
So
the chat is going crazy.
we had a lot of submissions, and there were some really good ones. I like every person submitted something, like at least one part that they changed. I thought was a good change, or like I liked, was interesting, or whatever. There were some standout ones. Two submissions mentioned Elvis, so that was interesting.
wait, what?
So
Really?
Wait,
What the heck?
Like, are you?
okay,
Hold on, hold on.
let me explain it.
First and foremost, Drew and I have not. Jeremiah judged this.
Yeah.
True.
We have no idea what's happening. Like, I don't know what the
I
winner
read
is.
one because Jeremiah made me, but yeah.
Oh, so you mean to tell me?
Okay, it makes sense if I tell you why there's two
Okay.
submissions with Elvis. So I believe it was Izzy from the Discord
Is
was inquiring about the contest, and I was like, you can be serious. You can make it however you want. Like if you want the Avengers to show up or Elvis show up, you can go right ahead. And so after that happened, two people submitted one with Elvis. So
Yeah.
Izzy, I think
And-
Izzy's submission was Elvis played the role of Uncle Owen.
Both people are in the chat right now.
And then I think it might have been Will's was
Will did one.
when R2D2 went to go play Leia's message, he accidentally played an Elvis.
Oh, that would have been awesome! Let's
dude, that's
go!
bro. That's like Lego Star Wars level stuff right there.
Shoot, wrong video.
So those are pretty fun. There were multiple that tied in Scarif more, and the second place winner, or the person who took second place, had the best implementation of Scarif, where the entire fleet, like when they escaped Scarif, they
Yeah.
all jumped to Tatooine, and they were all there. And how I pictured it was kind of like when the Star Destroyer that Ahsoka was on in season 7, when it came out of hyperspace, all like flaming and smoking about to crash. That's how I visualized all these Scarif rebel fleet coming out, and it was they're all there at Tatooine. So that was Matthew from Australia. He almost won, but he
I
didn't.
think he's in the chat right now.
Is he
Is
really?
he?
I think so.
Hey, Matthew, are you here?
Someone else said that. What's his name in the
Huh?
Discord and stuff? Did he say that or no?
I don't think so. But there was also a bunch of other ones. There's a lot of action added on. Leviathan.
I just looked down. Daddy Pop says, "Am I doing this right? What if Babu Frick replaced Alec Guinness?"
Oh.
Ooh, too late. You could have won almost, but I believe Leviathan's her. She straight up killed Vader like right away at the beginning of the movie. Like Leia kills
Oh,
him.
yeah, I read that one. That was funny.
Huh.
But the person who won, who I was very, very impressed by, was Lucy.
Hey.
And so
Congratulations.
So for Lucy, she I think had the most, like, the first half, like the story that she wrote was like a complete story, whereas most of everyone else was kind of like, this thing happens, this thing happens, this thing happened. It wasn't really like a story. But I will go ahead and read her story. So, A New Hope as told by Lucy. When the Tantive 4 is attacked by the Star Destroyer, R2 and 3PO find a way through the ship that doesn't pass directly through the line of fire, which I criticized when I criticized the first half because I hate that scene.
Good attention to detail.
So automatically she's paying attention to what, like, I hate.
How does that, Jeremiah? How does that feel to have someone to pay attention to what you hate?
Because me and Andrew definitely did not pay
No,
attention
we
to
did
that
not.
criticism
I didn't
at
even.
all.
I didn't remember you said that, bro.
Lucy and I, we get Star Wars, okay? Like ever since her first voicemail where she talked about how like Ahsoka's the best, and like we have very lot in common when it comes to
Okay, yeah, sure.
to Star Wars. So
Keep
she
going,
gets it.
Yeah, we got it. Come on.
So so they don't pass through the line of fire. R2 takes a page out of Yoda's book by releasing all the escape pods. So even though the Imperials shoot down most of them, they make it to Tatooine. Owen and Beru own the Mos Eisley Katina, and need to buy cocktail waiter droids. So they purchase R2 and 3PO from the Jawas. Dissatisfied with his new job, R2 runs off to find Obi-Wan and is pursued by Luke and 3PO. Obi-Wan saves the trio from Tusken Raiders, and over a fantastic cup of Wesley Andrews coffee,
Oh,
convinces
Ooh.
Luke to come with him to Alderaan. Meanwhile, the thought to be dead bounty hunter Aura Singh follows the droid tracks to the Jawa Sandclaw and then to the Katina, where she kills Beru and Owen and waits for R2 and 3PO to return. Our protagonists are on their way back to Mos Eisley when they inspect the destroyed Sandclaw, and then, in quotes, and these blast points far too accurate for Imperial stormtroopers. Only someone who knows how to use a blaster could be so precise. Obi-Wan Kenobi. Then they hurry back to the Katina. As Obi-Wan makes a deal with Chewie and Han for a ride to Alderaan, Aura jumps out from the shadows and engages in a heated duel with the elderly Jedi. During the fight, Obi-Wan deflects a laser bolt that accidentally kills Greedo, prompting Han to fire his own blaster to take credit for shooting first. They manage to hold off the bounty hunter long enough to escape to the Millennium Falcon, and after a brief negotiation with Jabba the Hutt, and then in quotes, Han, my boy, I will be generous and give you more time to pay off your debt if you bring me a 4XL necklace from cufflinks.com along with the money. Jabba the Hutt.
4XL. Oh
Stop.
my
And then they
God.
begin their journey to Alderaan, and that's your story.
that was all 10 sentences,
That's-
I hope so, because I didn't count. But
okay, hold on.
bro.
well, if you add like compound sentences, it's still one sentence. So it's like
Well, yeah, if you don't add a period, it's one sentence, right?
if it's grammatically correct, two sentences combined by and is still one sentence. So are
Okay.
you throwing a red flag or what?
No. I mean,
So, yes.
I thought it was very well written. I was very impressed, and honestly, that would have made the movie better for me.
Honestly, no one followed the 10 sentence thing. So
Oh well, that's
apparently
why do we even
someone
make
wrote you a
rules,
book.
y'all?
but yes, so I
To
really
break. That's why rules are there, to break.
I really like the story of how a bounty hunter is
Ooh,
sent
see.
after them.
See, you already have people in the chat saying, I did follow the rules.
Well, and we know that Devutus did.
Yep, he definitely followed the rules.
He sent a whole freaking book report in from what Jeremiah said. Also, I'm sorry for laughing during that. It was first of all, Lucy, congratulations. That was very, very well written and well thought out. I looked down and Ethan says Drew should join the 501st with a slave Leia costume.
I mean, if it's accurate to the specs, like they can't say no, right?
Yeah. Speaking
It's
of
2022 so
yeah, speaking of the 501st, a buddy of mine who is a music pastor down in Florida texted me today. Drew, it's Aaron Houston.
Oh,
Shout out to Aaron.
I didn't know that he was in Florida.
Yeah, he's down there at a church, and he was like, "Yeah, we're having a funeral today, and I'm pretty sure 3 people are coming dressed up as stormtroopers." And I was like, "Wait,
That's
what?"
fire.
And I was like, "Oh, it's probably the 501st because they do stuff like that. They do funerals and charity work and stuff like that." And come to find out, he sent me a picture, and like it was a sand trooper, a stormtrooper, and a TIE pilot. And it was arguably because I think unfortunately the guy who died, he was a part of the 501st. They had like a little Star Wars thing set up for him. It was actually really sweet. It had some lightsabers.
Dude,
And
when
stuff.
I die, when I go out, I want people wearing stormtrooper outfits and carrying me. That'd be dope.
That would be really
don't
cool.
know.
I will say that Sand Trooper was the best Sand Trooper armor
Really?
set I have ever seen in a picture.
You saw pictures of those?
Yeah, he sent me a picture. He took a picture
You
of the
should
3 of them in
throw
a
it in-
hallway. Bro,
Yeah.
it was, dude, the Sand Trooper. I don't know who that is. If you're listening, Sand Trooper guy, you were at that funeral today. Well done. That was
That's what's up.
fantastic. Anyways. All right, so
Hey,
Jeremiah, we've
People in the
announced
chat
the
are
winner.
saying that they'll do it for me. Thank you. Yeah, that's all I wanted. my life.
Ethan says for Drew's funeral, I'll wear the slave outfit.
Perfect.
Let's
Well,
let's not do that. Anyways, so Lucy, congratulations. We'll be in touch. Jeremiah, you still have
Yeah.
the floor. Let's talk about this next giveaway.
All right. So,
well, what did she win? First of all,
it's a New Hope necklace.
Yeah, we talked about it last week.
Yeah, and you have it right next to you.
Oh, wow.
But yes. So, if you follow us on YouTube, which you should, and if you haven't, subscribe. We posted this morning an unboxing video of cufflinks.com Star Wars mystery box, which is a box of random Star Wars products that they have. And so we got 2 of those. So we did one for us to open up to do the video for, but the final giveaway is a mystery box. So we don't know what's in
Your
it,
very own mystery to unbox.
but it is a
Completely
$200 or more
sealed.
value.
$200 or more, y'all.
Yes. So
Sounds like socks.
$200 worth of socks. You can't go wrong with $200 worth of socks.
Those are nice socks.
Because socks are expensive. Like you get 1 pack of socks from whatever, it's like $30 already. So, but yes, so we're giving away a mystery box, and we have another challenge or contest, and this is going to be a voicemail contest. And so, if you're not familiar, this is a great game called Super Fight. I don't know if you guys can see it, but it is a great game to have in a group where you can argue and debate. And so the premise of the game is you draw, each player, which is just 1v1, draw like 3 character cards and 3 trait cards. And then you anonymously just kind of, or on your own without sharing, you pick a character card and a trait card that you want. And then you randomly draw from the deck another trait card, and you have to keep that one. And so a character card with 2 trait cards, and the object of the game is to have the best argument why your character would win in a fight. And so the 2 people will debate, and then everyone listening, they vote for who had the best argument. So,
By the way, this is not a sponsor.
Not a sponsor.
But
But
if
if
you
they
want to
want
make a
to.
Star Wars deck, because they have all kinds, they have like an anime deck, they have like a DC deck.
I think they have a
deck.
Marvel one, yeah.
And so if they do, I don't know if they have a Star Wars one, but if you do, send it to us. We'll endorse that.
Can
for
I
you.
send someone to the Shadow Realm? Thanks, Daddy Palps. That was that hit my Yu-Gi-Oh funny bone. Thank you.
But yes, so if you're in the Discord, you saw that I put a poll. I put some 10 random Star Wars characters to vote on. And I just just pick a character, just vote. And so I took the top 2 voted characters, and those are the characters that are going to get some traits. And so the number 1 voted by like 1,000,000 to 1 was Hondo, who I gave to Andrew. And so I drew 3 trait cards from the deck. And so the 3 that I drew was that Hondo is armed with a rocket launcher. That's the first one.
Yep.
Or he is in a berserker rage. Or 3, can stop time while holding his breath. So I said, Andrew, this is your character. Pick 1 trait card. And Andrew, what did you pick?
Stop time when he holds his breath.
All right. And so then Drew's character, the second most votes, was R2D2. And the options I gave Drew were
this is great.
armed with dynamite,
Okay.
has a sonic scream, or can become any animal.
Become any animal.
And that's not what you said.
Oh.
That's not what you told me. You changed your answer.
Oh, stop, Drew. You can't do that.
That's why I had you guys tell me anonymously
That is
beforehand,
why.
so you couldn't change your answer. So
What-
he picked
what did he
armed
say?
with dynamite.
Okay.
I did.
All right,
So we got Hondo, who can stop time when he holds his breath,
yes,
versus R2D2 with dynamite.
yes, but now I gotta draw a random trait card, which are the dark ones here. So
All right.
I'm gonna.
Hit
And you're
us.
stuck with it. This
Hit
could
us.
be really good or it could be really bad.
Hit
so
me.
for Hondo,
Hit me.
ooh, this is not that bad.
Hey, hit me.
Throws knives.
That is 100% in character with him too.
Yes.
True.
All right, and so R2D2's next character or trait is he sprays neurotoxin.
Oh gosh.
Okay.
That kind of falls in line with R2 too.
He has
He did oil at one point.
he has dynamite and he sprays neurotoxin. But I can okay, yeah.
All right, so
I'm not here
now
to
we
debate. I'm not here to debate.
All right,
People
so
are already saying Andrew.
and
Andrew,
usually
Andrew.
what I like to do when I play the game is kind of put some parameters just so people can actually like have an argument. So when Hondo holds his breath, like it's not indefinite. Like when he holds his breath, time doesn't always stop for himself. Like when he holds his breath, it's as if he's holding his breath in real time. So he can only hold it for,
like 30 seconds.
30 seconds at a time or whatever. But also, if he's running around getting chased by R2, it's gonna be harder for him to hold his breath. So, he could only be able to hold his breath for a few seconds, and he has to take a breath or something like that. So
True, because I can throw neurotoxin out, and then he's holding his breath. Time is stopping, but then as soon as he lets up, he has to suck it in.
But yes, so then R2D2 has armed with dynamite. So I don't really think there's any parameters. Maybe do we want to say like he has like 3 sticks of dynamite?
Oh, don't cut me short.
Or are we gonna say an infinite amount? Because that's not fair. I'm gonna say 3 sticks because he doesn't have a lot of place to hold all that stuff. So we're gonna say 3 sticks of dynamite and sprays neurotoxin. That could be something that could be used multiple times also, just because it's a gas. So, but yeah, so we have to determine now: do we want people to send in a voicemail arguing who they think would win, or do we want to determine an underdog here and then have them argue why they think the underdog would win? Because we try to figure out how to do this because it's obvious this game is 2 people arguing against each other, and then we have to vote who has the best argument. But obviously, this is not like that. So we have to kind of make it change the rules of the game a little bit. I think it's pretty even, maybe.
I'd like to hear who people think would win.
I kind of want to figure out who picked the underdog.
Oh, now it's all on me to vote on.
I will say we quiz.
Granted, based off the chat, everyone's saying Andrew already, so maybe that's why.
So we quiz actually. This is from StarWars.com.
Is Hondo a Weequay?
Yeah.
You sure?
Yes. You didn't know that?
He doesn't, but he has the spikes on his chin though.
Yeah.
Like Weequays don't have that,
piercings.
He's definitely a Weequay.
Well, I'm going to look him up right now.
This article is literally called 10 things or much to learn you still have, 8 things you might not know about Weequays. Hondo is the cover picture. And then one of the points is, fun fact, Hondo had a girlfriend.
Oh.
Shanae?
I didn't realize. How is he a Weequay?
He's always been a Weequay.
But with those,
he just has a different face.
Everyone's like, how did you not know that?
I gotta look at more pictures of Weequays. But anyway, all right. Fine.
Well, they have really tough skin, and they're technically blaster resistant.
But not bomb resistant.
No, that's true.
So what are we gonna? We're gonna
blaster.
So the chat saying Hondo is like
gonna lose or win. Yes,
gonna win. So R2 would be the. I don't know. This is hard because when we were planning this like months ago, we're like, okay, well, let's do this, and then like this weekend, I'm like, crap, how are we actually gonna do this?
Well, I mean, I will tell you, I've got 3, if not 4 people that have already said that I was gonna win.
Exactly. So let's pick the underdog.
Yeah, let's do that.
All right, underdog. So we're going to say that R2D2, armed with dynamite and can spray neurotoxin, is the underdog in a fight against Hondo, who can stop time while holding his breath and also throws knives. So the task to win the mystery box is to argue through a voicemail why R2D2 would win this fight. and whoever has the best argument on. Now you can't just say, oh, because he's going to spray neurotoxin and Hondo's going to die. Like, make it like a battle. Make it a fight where you have to actually deal with Hondo's attacks and his schemes, and admit R2D2's faults. Like, maybe like, because he can't do this, he has to do this instead, or something like that. So be creative. Don't make it just like, oh, because R2D2 always wins, he is blah blah blah, and Hondo always fails. Like, don't do that. Like, that's lame. But yes,
And because this is a voicemail, you can add sound effects that could give you more
Ooh.
points.
ooh,
I mean,
Like, you guys
we're
be
really looking for
really
the most
creative with
entertaining
this.
one
Correct.
yes,
and the most creative.
So, I mean, we know that somehow this microphone talks by one of you guys. So, like, we know that the potential is out there for you guys to do sound effects, voiceovers, and all that stuff. So that's not going to hurt your cause. And this is for 200 value of a mystery box. So it's our big prize here. So it's worth putting some more effort into it. That's all I'm
yes.
saying.
But remember, send the voicemail, but you also have to send an email to us so we can actually contact you if you win. So empireradiofans@gmail.com. You have to send a voicemail and an email. And so this
Now,
is
now, Jeremiah, can they work with other people in our Discord? Can they like team up? That'd be
Well, we
interesting.
can't split up the prize.
right. Only one
Oh,
person is
true.
going to win.
Yeah.
So who?
That's fair.
Right.
But
People are
yes.
just like tagging other people in there. I'm like, are they gonna work together for this or what?
No.
So this today, right now, as we're recording, it is Tuesday, December 7th. It is currently live right now. If you're in the live stream, you can send your voicemail right now, an email right now if you want. But the contest will end next Monday, the 13th at 11:59 and 59 seconds Eastern Standard Time.
Correct. Also, one more thing. So I did see a few people asking if R2 has his whole setup that he would normally use. No.
Ooh, huh?
No,
No.
It's what do you mean no?
What do you mean?
It's
He-
R2D2. It's not a
How is
It's-
that fair?
because it's R2D2.
Because it's not just R2D2 with dynamite and neurotoxins. It's R2D2 with the taser stick and his rocket
Yeah,
boosters and his
that-
oil slick. Dude,
that's
what
who
the?
that's who R2D2 is. So you're saying Hondo doesn't have any clothes on because Hondo has clothes on?
He has
in the
clothes,
shows,
but his clothes don't allow him to fly or tase people.
Okay,
I'm-
so you're
that-
saying,
okay.
are you submitting that
but
R2 will
it's-
win? Because then we can swap it around.
R2D2 as he is in the TV shows and movies. That's who he is. That's who he is. So like,
Okay.
if I say Mike Tyson shows up in a fight,
He's helping
He's
your
like-
case true. Yeah,
like
I
you
guess
gotta
he's-
have. You can't say, oh, but he's buff. Like, that's not fair. He has big muscle. Like,
He took all the drugs. That's not
Yeah, but
fair.
it's like
Well,
Mike
they didn't
Tyson
test
versus the
him.
Terminator.
Well,
yeah, and
they
the
didn't.
Terminator is super OP and has
Well,
like
if you're-
is a
but,
robot and like
Andrew, are you
You're
saying
not-
that you would lose? If you submit that you would lose to me, we can say how would you Hondo win against R2? Then?
I mean, I think now that I realize that R2 has his whole utility belt at his disposal, like, because all Hondo has is throwing knives and time stopping.
And his attitude, okay,
and his charm.
and his charm.
Okay, do we want to say he has his goons helping him? Like, but that's
No, that's way too OP.
because that's not Hondo, because that's not part of who he is. But so we can't say that. But
So okay, you submit, then we can swap.
we already determined R2D2 is the underdog here.
Andrew's
All right.
This is why you have to lay out ground rules before you start your arguments, because there's always these disagreements. Like, there was one time when we played, it was the character was the Men in Black. Well, is that like the
All the Men in
organization,
Black?
or is
Yeah.
that like
Two of them.
two, like Will Smith and what's his face? But
Poor
Yes.
guy.
we
He's
already
always gonna
determined
be-
that R2D2
That guy
is.
is always going to be Will Smith and what's his face. Dang.
Yep.
Okay.
All right, that's the
That's
competition.
not right, but all right. Have fun. It's gonna be freaking easy now
Why?
because R2D2 has all of his gadgets,
Yeah, but then Hondo
what I'm
can just
saying,
hold his
just do
breath,
Hondo
and then
then.
it doesn't matter.
but Weequays can't hold their breath forever.
Okay, but R2D2 could hold
hey,
it, could be
is it-
flying at him. He could hold his breath,
And
throw
make
the
him fall?
knife, take a step across over here, and then
All right.
a knife hits him right in his red eyeball and kill him.
R2 can open an air duct. Is it
Let's see.
bye-bye?
If it was R2 versus Echo, Echo would be the underdog. I'll tell you that right now. But
Not at unlocking doors.
Yeah,
Echo's
is
the
this a
unlocking
door
door.
unlocking?
Yeah.
I think R2D2 could open way more doors. And
That sounds like a better 1v1.
But not
Who
with
can
as
open
much
the door
style.
faster? True.
All right.
Style
Well,
points.
He said,
that's
"Do
the
you mean
competition.
Oscar-winning actor Tommy Lee Jones?" Yeah, Tommy Lee Jones.
Yes. What's his name?
Come
What's
on,
his
y'all.
name?
Yeah. What's his face? Yeah. We're talking about the same person. All right. That's the competition. Those are the rules. It's been determined. It's controversial. Get the game. It's a great game. Super Fight
Not
send
a
us money.
sponsor. Send us money.
But if you want to sponsor us, we're here for you. All right, Yuuzhan Vong, let's go.
Wow. Only 45 minutes into this episode.
Wow.
Let's go.
Only 35 minutes.
Oh, well.
Actually, it's 36. All right, let's talk about the Yuuzhan Vong.
All right.
You with Andrew time.
You with Andrew time.
Wow, you're on a roll today, or all time. You're just on a roll.
Every day.
You're cranking out the hits, Drew.
I'm,
All right, as usual.
make sure you timestamp that, please. And yeah.
Of course.
So as usual, we have a nice presentation that I finished way too close to the recording of this episode because I had a busy day. But we're here and we're living it now. So we're going to talk about the Yuuzhan Vong. Learned a lot today, and I hope all of you learn a lot too. So let's start by talking about their biology and their culture, because both of these things are very important in the overall discussion of the role that they had in the galaxy later on in the expanded universe. So, first and foremost, the Yuuzhan Vong were a humanoid species that weirdly shared some characteristics with the humans that were found in the galaxy, even though they were an extragalactic race. So they were from outside the galaxy, the known Star Wars galaxy. And I'm not talking just the unknown regions where, the Chiss Ascendancy is and all that stuff. Like they were, I mean, a completely different universe almost, So they were extragalactic.
Were they in America, maybe?
I've seen some stuff that kind of looks like them here.
Or Middle Earth?
You go to Walmart on a Friday night. You never know what's going to happen. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Anyways, so it was very strange that they were humanoid because, for what we know, humans did not exist outside of the Star Wars galaxy. At least in the fandom realm that is Star Wars, it's possible, but there was
this technically still in the galaxy then?
Okay, so during the history that we're going to cover, there's actually not really a known timestamp for it. But it does take place a few millennia before the events of part of the Old Republic and the prequels, that time period. So maybe, but it is.
Consider sorry, I can't talk right now. Would you consider Thrawn a humanoid?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Humanoid covers any like bipedal, opposable thumbs, somewhat normal hands and feet. Like their facial features resemble humans to a certain extent.
They have teeth.
Yeah. Which is why it was strange, because there was a point that I read that was like, it is believed that they could be an offshoot of humans from like centuries and centuries and centuries before the event. So anyways, so they're humanoid. They had a longer lifespan than humans, were larger in build than humans, and had a goblin-like appearance. Distinct features include blue eye sacs that expand or contracted to display their mood, are in and or kind of around the eye area, and a nervous system highly conductive to feeling pain. that will come into play later, and they were completely outside the Force, completely removed from it. So
Meaning what?
they,
use it?
huh?
They can't use it? Is that what that means?
They do not exist in the Force.
No. So you're not going to get a broom kid where they're from.
Yes and no, but for most of this discussion, no. So like, the Force is like that energy field that binds everything together and everybody's a part of it and stuff like that. They're like off somewhere else. Like they are not part of the Force.
So then, question:
Yes.
If one of them were to be born within the galaxy, would that born child
Stretch the Force?
be part of the Force then? Because they're
So we're going to talk about this in their history, but it's not necessarily proximity to Force sensitive beings. We'll talk about it. That's a good question, but we'll talk about it because
All right.
there is a pretty interesting point in their history that actually addresses this. But it's the first like being in Star Wars that's like completely separate. Like we're not talking Luke closed himself off. It's like they are completely ripped out, like a completely different thing. So super interesting fact there. The Yuuzhan Vong had a dichotomous culture. On one hand, they revered life to the highest level. Every living thing was included in this, and they deeply hated machines. On the other hand, they were strict, honor-bound, and savage race, similar to, but far more intense than the Mandalorians. Their culture revolved around pain, sacrifice, and their gods. They glorified pain as a way of living because they held the belief that just as their gods sacrificed their bodies to form their own galaxy, they were to sacrifice parts of their bodies for a greater purpose. This led the Yuuzhan Vong to replace parts of their bodies with those of other races that improved their physical condition. If the ceremony failed, for example, the body part was rejected by the Yuuzhan Vong's body, and the Yuuzhan Vong didn't die during that process, it was either killed or labeled as a shamed one. So this is speaking of the Yuuzhan Vong culture after the history that we'll cover. So this is like the modern, like invading the galaxy Yuuzhan Vong, because there is a difference, but they were crazy. Like they glorified pain. They lived to be in pain, and they mutilated their bodies. It's kind of like when you had a Bionicle back in the day and you just like snap different Bionicle pieces together. That's kind of what they did. And so that's why
saved Lego.
That's true. Yeah. That's why they all have somewhat of a similar look, but then all of them, if you look into the details, like especially the artwork and stuff, they're all kind of different too. Because a lot of times, like successfully swapping out a body part or something like that.
So it's like a transplant type thing, or
it
is
is
it like
so.
Yeah.
It wasn't. I didn't get the sense in the research that I did that it was like an arm, like a whole arm. But it would be like organs or different, like sensory organs and stuff like that. And they never did it. So here's a big distinguishing factor. They never did it with a part of a race that would make them less than what they were. It was always improvement. So because that was a part of their beliefs.
And racism. Nice.
Oh, it gets worse. It gets worse on that front. So yeah, if for some reason any part of that failed and they survived, they would either be killed, they would just kill them on the spot, or they would be labeled what they call a shamed one, which you did not recover from that. You were a shamed one no matter what you did for the rest of your life.
I just got the picture of like some Yuuzhan Vong that was like a weird guy, and like he thought Wookiee hair was cool, so he got like covered himself in Wookiee hair.
To be fair,
and he comes out like, "Hey guys, look at me!" And like everyone was looking at him like, terrible.
No.
To be fair, different galaxy altogether. But That would be funny. We are going to talk about Chewbacca a little bit during this.
Oh, well, get a little
Huh?
choked up. Does he die?
We'll talk about
Fighting?
it later.
Uh-oh.
Okay, so let's continue talking about the culture. The Yuuzhan Vong viewed death as a release from their life of suffering, and thus they would often fight to the death or would resort to killing themselves to preserve their honor.
This is so depressing.
Similar in a similar vein to medieval Japan ish kind of
That's what I was thinking.
that kind of a deal. But there was even a point where they were talking about how like when they did invade the galaxy, like scientists hardly ever could even get on their ships because a lot of times if like the ship was doomed to fail, they would just blow it up, or like they would literally fight until everyone was dead. There's like a huge undercurrent of honor and honor in death and honor in pain and suffering in their culture. So like
Suicide is like whatever.
right. But even before that,
In
they would
battle.
literally fight tooth and nail to the last breath, which is one of the things that really made them dangerous. Because they didn't, pain is one of the greatest motivators in keeping people from not going that far, in a regular fight. And so for them to just completely regard that, like it makes them really
They
dangerous.
remind me of orcs.
Yeah.
The way they look, what you're describing is very similar to like what an orc would do.
They're
Like
so much
they don't
smarter
give a
though.
frick at all.
They're so much smarter.
Oh, okay.
I mean, are you talking about like Lord of the Rings orcs?
Of course. What
Yeah.
other orcs?
Yeah,
We're not
way
playing
smarter.
D&D here. Come on.
Yeah. Anyways, so
Tanner already left the chat because he's probably playing D&D. So
boo. All right. So this, along with their brutal and effective combat abilities, made them a formidable foe unlike the galaxy had ever seen. At their core, they were warriors and reveled in fighting and conquest. The Yuuzhan Vong were born into a rigid and dangerous caste system. The system was broken up as follows. So at the very top was Supreme Overlord. The Supreme Overlord, super original there, had control over all the other castes and had direct communication with their supreme god. So they had a supreme god and then a bunch of lesser deities. There's actually a whole subsection on Wikipedia directly for their religious breakdown of like their god system, stuff like that, which I did not include in this. But the Supreme Overlord apparently had a direct communication with the Supreme God. Directly under that was what is called Shapers, which if you're watching the video or catching the stream, that beautiful looking blue Yuuzhan Vong there, that is a Shaper. I put that in there just so people could get a sense for what they look like. They were scientists who supervised the biotechnology of the Yuuzhan Vong and worked hand in hand with priests. Shapers had tendril headdresses connected to their nervous systems and shaper hands, which contained their tools. They handled the body altercation rituals as well. So they had like custom, like everyone's was different, but they had tools embedded in their
hands.
fingers. Yeah. It's kind of weird.
What?
Kind of Edward Scissorhands
Yeah.
meets Freddy Krueger, meets like a normal doctor.
Meets Wolverine.
Yeah, it's kind of really strange. Underneath Shapers were priests.
Question: Who's
yes.
the white kid in that picture?
That is, I'm pretty sure that's Anakin Solo or Jason Solo. I don't remember. It's one of the Solo boys.
I was like, why is there this random?
Because it's from the artwork from one of the books.
Right.
Yeah.
It kind of also looks like Andrew.
It's just because he's a white kid with pretty good hair. Is that what you're saying?
Oh, weird flex, but okay.
That's a weird flex that you.
Anyways,
Not to
so
throw that much shade at me. Jeez.
Yeah, Baldy.
yeah, you're smooth. I'm not smooth.
That's fair.
I can never be
One
smooth.
day you will be.
No, stop. I don't want to be smooth.
Wow.
Okay, this has
yeah,
nothing.
you're so cool. You're smooth, but I don't,
Yeah,
I don't want to.
I don't wanna
Listen,
do
listen,
that.
listen. Hold on. I need to set the record straight. This has nothing to do with being bald. This has everything to do with how bad I look bald.
Do you know that?
Yeah, I did a filter once.
It's not the same.
That's not the same.
It scared me enough that I'm never trying it. So,
Well,
anyways,
sometimes people don't have choices.
that's true. That's true.
I'm one of those people. So.
Hey, look, if it happens, I'll embrace it.
True. Just
But
that's
until
all
then,
I'm
you're
asking.
gonna have your Hauser hair.
Until
Yes.
then, you're gonna flex on all of us. Okay.
No.
Sounds
Anyways, priests. So we had Supreme Overlord, then Shaper, then directly under that, Priest. Considerably powerful within the culture, and they served the many lesser deities of the culture. Warriors was the next one down. One of the largest castes that served as the military branch of the Yuuzhan Vong Society. And then underneath that, Intendant, in charge of matters of commerce, bureaucracy, trade, and management of slave labor. It's the smallest caste of all of them. And then you have Worker at the very bottom, the largest yet lowest caste, served as laborers, servants, and slaves. And for those of you watching the actual presentation, I included domains. Domains was not part of the caste system, but that is what they called their family systems. Family was a massive thing. I want to say even more so than it was in the Chiss Ascendancy. Like it's like you couldn't even you couldn't date, you couldn't have relationships with people outside of your domain. Like it was like the Chiss Ascendancy family system on steroids. So there you go.
All right.
The more you know, right?
Yep.
All right. So there's a snapshot of their biology and their culture as they were in the modern era when they were invading the galaxy. Let's talk about their history. I want to give some context as to who they were and how they became the Yuuzhan Vong that we see in the New Jedi Order books. So first and foremost, some people might recognize the robot, one of the robots on the screen here, if you're watching in the stream or on YouTube. But if you don't, I'll get there in a second. So while they ended up, the Yuuzhan Vong, while they ended up as a nomadic / refugee warrior race, the Yuuzhan Vong were originally from the planet Yuuzhan Tar in another distant galaxy. The Yuuzhan Vong actually lived peaceful lives, and they were connected to the Force originally. They lived in symbiosis with their living planet. So Yuuzhan Tar was an actual living organism connected to the Force, but it was a planet. Kind of like Ego, kind of, from Marvel, maybe, but like I would say much less volatile.
Kind of maybe more along the lines of Mortis.
Yeah,
Kind of.
yeah.
Kind of.
Yeah, that's definitely a better comparison than Ego. So anyways, while they were living on this planet, their technology was largely organic, and it was all biotechnology because they had this symbiotic relationship with the planet, and the planet often supplied technologies that they needed. It was really interesting. At one point, they were caught in the middle of a war between two droid races, the Silentium and the Abominor. So the Silentium, if you're looking at the presentation, the Silentium, they look very much almost like the War of the Worlds robots, like the classic War of the Worlds robots. They did take many forms, but that's kind of the most popular one. And then the Abominor, I don't really know how to describe this other than like it's just like a big like truck robot with arms.
It kind of looks like something you'd see in like Thomas the Train or something.
I was gonna
Yeah,
say
but
that.
like
It looks like a
sci-fi
tank
Thomas the Train.
engine.
But here's the thing. So I don't know if you guys know this, but there is an Abominor in the Droids cartoon.
Oh, we're all about Ewoks over here. Sorry.
Yeah, yeah, that's fine.
I must
So-
have missed that episode.
Well, we didn't watch that episode, but it's there. I think it's at the end of season 2. They meet an Abominor, but the Abominors are crazy.
Episode.
What?
Huh? What'd you
Is
say?
it season 2, episode
I said the end. The
5?
end of season 2.
Oh, I thought you were gonna give us an exact time.
I don't remember. I don't remember what it was, but I talked about it when we talked about droids. But yeah, so they actually ate and consumed living creatures to fuel themselves.
Oh,
So
wait,
that's
we
fun.
you talked about that.
yeah,
didn't
they're kind of crazy. They don't look very
I
evil,
was
but
gonna say, they don't look that.
dude, they're
crazy.
freaking they're crazy. So anyways, the Yuuzhan Vong were caught in a war between these two races, droid races. To aid in freeing themselves and to not falling in the war, the planet was said to have aided them by creating living weapons for them, which will come into play later. That's an important part.
Question.
Yes.
So the droids were on Yuuzhan Tar, or they came to Yuuzhan Tar?
Yes and
during
yes.
The war.
It was like the war was happening and Yuuzhan Tar was basically in the middle of it.
Oh, okay.
And they just got sucked into it.
Sounds good.
Great question though. So yeah, the war between the Abominor and the Silentium dragged on, and the Yuuzhan Vong became increasingly more violent and warlike. Eventually, they were able to drive both droid powers out and force them to flee their galaxy. So they drove them out. This conflict led them to deeply hate all forms of mechanical technology and contributed to xenophobia towards other sentient life forms. They then began a crusade across their own galaxy to cleanse it from all forms of mechanical technology. Many worlds were conquered. Their people
Din Djarin.
What?
They wanted to be like Din Djarin. He hated droids.
Yeah,
Okay.
it was a little deeper than that, though.
Okay.
It's a little more severe. uh, so many worlds were conquered. Their people either enslaved or wiped out completely until little of their galaxy was left. The domains then turned on one another, resulting in a devastating war that ended up destroying their home planet as well. So they drove the robots out. That's like such a classic like sci-fi thing. It's like, oh, these aliens are fighting the robots now. Anyway, so they got the robots out, and then they were like, you know what? We hate technology. We're literally going to go through our entire galaxy and try to destroy the technology. And if they resist, we're just going to kill everyone. So the war completely changed who they were as a culture. Like they were peaceful and they were a part of the Force before, and now they're like, we have a blood vendetta against all technology. So we're going to go out and we're going to conquer people to whatever end is needed to accomplish that goal. It's crazy. And then they end up destroying their planet. But here's what's really important. Before it was destroyed, Yuuzhan Tar stripped the race of their connection to the Force because they all but destroyed their own galaxy. So the planet, seeing what they had become, stripped the entire race. Like I'm not just a single group, everyone from it stripped the connection to the Force from them completely. So when you guys were asking like, oh, was there ever, or could there be? Technically, yes. And there actually is one way later, but like their people for millennia were just completely ripped out of the Force because of the planet. Because they had become monsters. With most of their galaxy destroyed, the Yuuzhan Vong began a long trek through the void to another galaxy in search of a new home. They traveled in living world ships, and during their millennia's long voyage, they almost destroyed themselves because of infighting. During that time, much of their culture was stripped away, but their glorification of pain and hatred of mechanical technology remained. So for those of you watching the presentation, there is a picture of 3 or 4 of the various types of ships. They're very organic looking. Like they have warships that almost resemble whales.
They kind of look like the
like
one
rebels.
fish.
Yeah. And then there's like these big spinny ones that look kind of like a bird's eye view of a hurricane.
Does it do
And then,
tricks?
huh?
Does it do tricks?
It spins.
Just try spinning. That's a nice trick.
It does trick. It does do tricks, yeah. And it does spin.
Good.
Yeah, and then there's some mushroom looking ones. So anyways, the planet just just stripped them straight out of the force. Like, nah, you're not doing that anymore. Which actually ended up being one of their greatest weapons later, but we'll talk about that in a few minutes. So, because now we're talking about the Yuuzhan Vong War. But before we talk about the Yuuzhan Vong War, I want to talk about the war against sleepiness and sluggishness and everything else that coffee can solve, and how if you drink coffee, you can win that war.
Really?
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Didn't know that, did you?
Jeremiah hasn't.
Oh.
He's definitely losing that war.
Well, hey, you know what you can do, everyone else, to win that war? You can get coffee from the sponsor of today's episode, Wesley Andrews Coffee and Tea. Did you know that?
Yep.
Oh.
Yep.
Okay. Well, on that lovely note, we're going to take a moment and listen to a word from that sponsor. So just check this out. Hey everyone, Andrew here. I'm pleased to tell you that the sponsor of today's episode is Wesley Andrews Coffee and Tea. If you don't know anything about Wesley Andrews, you definitely should. They're an award-winning coffee roaster and shop in Minneapolis, Minnesota, and they make fantastic coffee. The awesome thing is that whether you live in the Twin Cities or not, you can get their coffee beans delivered straight to your door by ordering them online. They even have a subscription service that ensures you never run out of amazing coffee. If you've been looking for some new coffee to try or a way to elevate your normal coffee routine, now's your chance. Head over to wesleyandrews.cc, use the code Empire Radio, that's with a capital E and a capital R with no space at checkout, to get 15% off your first purchase of any bags of coffee or a coffee subscription. I can't think of a better deal. Get 15% off some great coffee, support a small business, and support your favorite Star Wars podcast. In the words of Emperor Palpatine, do it.
Do it.
Do it.
Do it.
Drew, I want you to know, I think it was last week after Wesley Andrews, somehow we said do it at the exact same time. Like I didn't have to edit it or any. Yeah, it was really cute, you know?
Wait, do you normally edit this all together?
No. I do the very end. The very, very end when you say always, I'll edit those together because of the internet lag. There's like, I don't think any of us have ever done it simultaneously first try since we've been doing remote.
Right.
But last week we said do it at the same time, and I was like, oh, well, look at that. Anyways, back to the regular scheduled programming. So go check out Wesley Andrews if you haven't already. It's amazing. So you won't regret it. So let's talk about the Yuuzhan Vong War. So now we're at the meat and potatoes of this whole thing. So this is where we get the whole interaction between the Yuuzhan Vong. So we've been talking about them kind of in a vacuum this whole time, and no pun intended, in space. Anyways, but now we're going to talk about why they made such an impact on the galaxy. You guys excited?
Yes.
Of course.
Do you have any questions so far?
I'm gonna have questions about if this is the same group that other people are asking, but I'll ask that later.
But the question I have is that picture. I was like, when I saw that picture, I was like, that looks like the younglings that Anakin was about to kill, and they just all started to like charge him. But that's
no,
what came to mind.
That
kind of looks like the kid. They're like, Master Skywalker, there's too many of them. Like, kind of looks like him a little bit.
Wait, what was that?
We know that didn't happen. Master
Skywalker, there's too many of them. What are we gonna do about it?
No, he doesn't say what are we gonna do about it. That's the
What are we
Jeremiah.
gonna do?
Yeah,
What are we
this is the
gonna do?
Jeremiah version.
That's
What are we gonna do about it?
Oh,
Ew.
Anyways, all right, let's talk about the Yuuzhan Vong War. Okay, so let's talk about what made them so dangerous. Aside from the fact that they have a bloodlust, while also in a weird way revering life, and also they're really good fighters. Let's talk about what actually made them.
but I have a question. What makes them good fighters? That we're about to go over.
Did you
Yeah.
not pay attention to what he
I
tried
mean,
to
they're
say?
literally a warrior race. Like they're how to
Well, I
fight
get that,
is bred into them
but
as
like they
children.
don't have technology, so that's what
Would
I'm
you
wondering.
read
No,
the,
they do have
read-
technology, Drew.
Read the screen. What does it say at the top?
Advanced technology.
No. The first above on the top.
Oh,
the
what made
title.
them so dangerous? Yeah.
Yeah, that's gonna answer your question.
Yeah. So Drew, let's talk about it. So the Yuuzhan Vong contained.
Sorry.
Dang, Jeremiah just roasted him. A good one. I'm sorry, Drew. It was an honest question. I appreciate it.
Yep. This is a safe place. You can.
Yeah, in
Always
front of
have
Apparently
thousands of
not.
people. He said it's really. I mean, if it gets too bad, I can just edit it out. It'll be fine.
We're
True.
leaving it in.
But Jeremiah's not gonna.
I'm
edit
leaving
out.
it in the YouTube version.
Okay, so the Yuuzhan Vong contained many biotechnologies that were superior to the mechanical technologies of the New Republic at the time, and they were superior. They included, but were not limited to, biological battle analyst computers that were extremely effective at coordinating their troops in battle. It reminded me of kind of like battle meditation, but it's like a biological computer doing it. So it's not the same thing, but like because of the way that their technology worked and how deeply intertwined it was to their actual physiology, like it was very effective. They have a communication system that rivaled the HoloNet at the time. So it was that
Ooh.
vast and that powerful. And they had their own form of hyperspace travel. So they're achieving everything with biotechnology that the rest of the galaxy is with their most up-to-date forms of technology. However, the real threat was in their weaponry. This is where it gets kind of crazy. So Yuuzhan Vong carried the most popular weapon was called an amphistaff, which were serpentine weapons that could be used as whips, spears, or swords. So there's a picture there of one of the Yuuzhan Vong holding this thing, and it looks kind of like a snake, like some sort of a water snake or like a dragon snake or whatever kind of snake you want to envision. That's what it looks like.
It's
Good
a
job.
snake.
It's a snake. It's a snaky snake. You guys remember that? You don't, dude? That was huge on the internet. You guys don't remember that
What?
sneaky snake? Wow. Okay. Someone in the
I'm
chat
sorry,
will.
I'm 32. I'm too old to.
Okay.
probably
I'm
do
30. I'm older.
Your generation is a little.
My generation. What is this? Someone please remember that in the chat. Don't make me look like an idiot. Anyways, oh no. Oh no, Daddy Pops. Let's talk about what makes them so dangerous, but what makes them such good fighters. Anyways. All right, so they had these weapons and they had the ability to change form at the will of the person wielding it. So they could be flexible. You could use it as a whip. They could be used as spears. They could become incredibly rigid. They also used them as swords, and they were highly resistant to lightsabers and energy-based weapons. So
That's cool.
These snakes were alive when they're doing like.
So yes. The simplified version is yes. These are bioweapons. So it's technologically advanced, but yes, it's alive. It's kind of this weird gray area where it's like it's not a snake, like it's not actually just a regular snake, but it's not a weapon. It's a snake weapon. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Okay, cool. Thanks. Anyways, what made these so powerful, other than the fact that they could go toe to toe with a lightsaber, is that you take someone who is incredibly skilled in fighting in like general martial art abilities of their culture, and then give them a weapon that can take multiple different forms at will. You combine the different forms in and out of different combat forms and stuff like that. I mean, it makes them extremely difficult to fight. Because the second you get, used to fighting a whip, you're fighting a sword, or you're fighting a spear, or whatever. I think that they had the ability to shoot like some sort of an energy projectile too, but don't quote me on that. Anyways, they're really effective weapons. They also wore armor, and I might butcher this, but it's known as Von Dune Skur Kurik armor. I think it was made from the shell of a crab. This crab thing that they had, but it was a living armor that protected them from blasters and lightsabers. Aside from its weak spots under the armpits where its gills were located, because it was living, the armor could even repair itself. Though it was weak.
Cool.
Though it was weak to force lightning. They found that out way too late. Way too late. Hundreds of Jedi had died before they found that out. But like this armor, literally blaster bolts would just like ricochet off of them. And then,
Do you think that it was weak to force lightning because it's alive?
yes.
That makes sense.
Yeah. And it did have a weakness. There was a specific pollen. Yes, you heard me
So it had
correctly.
allergies.
It had allergies. Yeah, there was one pollen that weakened it pretty bad, but it was like this one single well, we'll talk about it, but there was a pollen. That's a merch idea. There was a pollen.
Is it though?
I mean, you sneezed earlier.
Well, I'm.
Wait, is Drew a Yuuzhan Vong?
Are you a Yuuzhan Vong? Is that why you're smooth?
Maybe.
Oh,
Maybe
you need to have a.
The strongest part
my
of another
snake.
creature was their baldness, and he
Is it
adapted
your
that.
No.
Is the microphone alive because it's my snake the whole time?
Oh.
Wow.
Drew's mic, weigh in on this.
Yeah, please do. Wow, Jeremiah, that was really funny. Good job. I looked down to Dichotomous. What about a Yuuzhan Vong versus Hondo with holding time and knives? Anyways, yeah, so they had this armor. It was extremely durable. I would compare it to like Beskar when it comes to deflecting lightsabers. Like I'm sure a lightsaber could cut through it if they like sat there like Qui-Gon Jinn in the Phantom Menace, but like in battle, that's not going to happen. Like lightsabers would bounce off of it too, and then it could repair itself, which is crazy. So other than that one, the pollen and force lightning, and if you hit him in the armpit, but realistically, how hard is that? It's pretty hard. Unless you're John Wick.
But what if you lay down and someone tickles you? You're screwed.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, are you bluffing? Are you bluffing right now? Because you're a Yuuzhan Vong? Are you telling us your weakness?
Don't tickle me.
That's a merch idea. Anyways.
All right.
Just put your face on the back of it too. Anyways, they also had large coral-shaped ships that featured Yaret core plasma weapons that were said to melt right through conventional ship hulls and armor. They're extremely powerful.
Wow.
Yeah, like butter. That's how easy it was. And this is really cool. The shielding for their ships was provided by Dovin Bastles that created singularities that protected the craft from laser fire and could strip shields off of enemy vessels. They used black holes, like literally used black holes to protect their ships.
Shields?
Yep. So the lasers would just be like,
Well,
you just
what
shoot,
would they be like?
they're gone. They're just gone. And then if they got close enough, they could literally pull a shield off of an enemy ship with it. It was also, the gravitational powers was also powerful enough that it could potentially pull moons.
Dude,
which
so if
which
Princess
will
Leia would
also
have,
which we'll also talk about later. So
I
just
was gonna
buckle in for
say,
that.
if Leia's ship would have busted open in front of one of those things, she would have flown right into that black hole. I can
the
fly.
Oh gosh, Drew.
What the heck?
Okay, Princess Leia, shloop, no, she's just
Yep.
gone. All right, so they had really advanced weapons, and the crazy thing is that the Republic had no idea. The New Republic had no idea how to fight these armors and weapons and everything that they brought with them, and they were extremely caught off guard. So not only did they have to fight advanced weaponry, but they had to figure out how to fight it too, which is why it was so deadly.
So I don't know if you mentioned this, but when they enter the Star Wars galaxy, like, what's the time frame?
We're getting to that.
Hold
Like,
your horses.
Like literally the next slide.
oh,
Yeah.
Don't
I just
pull a
wanted
Drew
to
and
talk
not
about
happen.
what made them dangerous so we had context.
oh, okay.
Instead of going through the entire timeline and been like, and then this is why they're dangerous. Like
Right.
I wanted to give people context first.
Makes sense.
So let's
Good
talk
thing I
about
asked.
what?
Good thing I asked you why they're dangerous.
Yeah, no, it literally you're the reason why we know all this now, Drew. So thank you for that.
You're welcome.
So let's talk about the pre-invasion period. Now this is really interesting.
Wait, can you go over the pre-invasion period? I'm kind of confused.
Okay, we're gonna do this all night, or we can keep going.
For a second, Jeremiah, I thought you were serious. It's like I was literally about to say, dude, this slide's right there. anyways, so let's talk about the pre-invasion period. So they leave their galaxy. So just a little recap: they royally screw everything up. They get removed from the Force, and then they leave. They're like, we got to go somewhere else. So they sit in a living spaceship for millennia, and then eventually they start getting close enough that they begin sending out scouts and things begin to happen. So, for example, we're going all the way back to 3962 BBY. A group of Mandalorian Neo-Crusaders came in contact with Yuuzhan Vong scout ship disguised as an asteroid. It was said that the ship's weaponry was able to melt through the Mandalorians' armor like wax.
Ooh.
The probe then, after the battle, fled with the Mandalorians in pursuit until it exited the galaxy. The Mandalorians then turned back. This was the first known contact between the Yuuzhan Vong and the known galaxy.
So it just went through Beskar like nothing.
Yep. I mean, Beskar wasn't technically a thing then, but like, I guess it was. I don't know if they ever talked. I could be totally wrong, but I don't remember hearing a ton about the actual material, unless it was cortosis, maybe. I don't remember, but
Sorry, I mixed non-EU with EU stuff.
it's
My
okay.
bad.
I mean, they still had the best armor in the galaxy
Oh,
at the time. I mean, like the second you get Mandalorian armor in KOTOR,
game over.
I mean, you don't use it as I didn't use it as a force wielder because the dexterity bonus is pretty low, but for my gunslinger people, it's really good. It's the best armor I found. Though there's probably some like Cassus Fett's armors in there, which is cool because he I'm pretty sure has a role in Jango Fett's lineage. Could be wrong. Anyways. Yeah, so they come in contact with the Mandalorians. They get out of there. The Mandalorians get to the edge of the galaxy, and they're like, "Nah, we're not doing that." So they turn back. Now, fast forward a long time to 32 BBY. There's a lot of stuff. There's a lot of stuff in between these dates that actually goes on, but these are the main things that I thought were the most important to the overall story and to what everyone would know and have readily available from Star Wars media. So 32 BBY, during the time of the invasion of Naboo, so the Phantom Menace, the Yuuzhan Vong encountered the planet Xenoma and attempt to colonize it. So this planet is another sentient living planet within the Star Wars galaxy. Okay, so just keep that in mind. They attempted to colonize it. The planet's biosphere killed the Yuuzhan Vong's flora and fauna, provoking them, and war ensued. They went to war with the planet and its people. After 2 long years of fighting, the Jedi Vergir convinced them to leave under the condition that she would travel with them. Obi-Wan and Anakin went to investigate what happened and actually learned a super small amount of information about the Yuuzhan Vong. They didn't know their name or anything, but there were stories about their weaponry and their colonizing methods and stuff like that. So there was like a super minuscule amount of knowledge about them that Obi-Wan and Anakin in the expanded universe actually uncover. But then they disappear, and so it's like, what are you going to do with it? What are you going to do with that information? Vergir, I don't know if you guys remember this. Vergir is actually a character that comes into play and came into play when we were talking about Abeloth. So not the first time
crickets.
Okay, that's fine. It literally was in my presentation, so it's fine. Okay, so skipping forward a few years, 27 BBY. This was at the time of the Outbound Flight Project. You guys remember that?
Sounds familiar.
God, you're killing me. You guys are killing me. Joris Sabath?
Yes.
Yeah.
I remember that name. Isn't that like the random crazy Jedi?
Yeah, but he was a clone, a crazy clone of the original Jedi Master who went out on the Outbound Flight Project. And
Yes.
it in the EU canon timeline is the first time Thrawn makes an appearance. Give or take. EU's kind of confusing, but it was pretty early.
Yep.
So anyways, this was at the time of much closer to the time of the Clone Wars. But the Outbound Flight Project. Anyways, it is said that Palpatine had knowledge of the Yuuzhan Vong threat at that time, which is part of the reason for the project, though the extent of his knowledge and the source have never been confirmed. It is confirmed that Yuuzhan Vong scouts were actually active during the Clone Wars in the galaxy. So there's that.
Cool. Operating in the shadows.
Now, moving on to encounters with the Chiss. So I thought this is really interesting. It is said around this time, around the 27 BBY time period, a small Yuuzhan Vong force engaged the Chiss expansionary defense force and was defeated by Admiral Aralani, which, if you've read any of the books, that is a name that you should definitely know. Sometime between 27 and 22 BBY, it was speculated that a pact between the Vagari and the Yuuzhan Vong had been made against the Chiss. The Vagari is also a name that has come up many times in the canon Thrawn books, if you have read those.
Mm-hmm.
Sometime between his dispatch to the unknown regions in 3 ABY and his return in 9 ABY, Thrawn encountered the Yuuzhan Vong, and they were one of his primary motivations for returning to the galaxy and reuniting the remnants of the Empire the way he did in the Thrawn trilogy. I thought this was very interesting because, so DeVue Twist earlier, before we started recording, asked if the Grisks are being set up to be the Yuuzhan Vong of the canon Star Wars timeline. And this is a very good reason as to why I think they are, because
It sounds like it.
We've seen a lot of, especially the lore of the Chiss and the storytelling of the Chiss has been brought in slowly but surely into canon by Timothy Zahn, and I just think it's very interesting that there are, without going into spoilers, some pretty significant hints that the Grisk are this force in the Chiss, outside of the Chiss ascendancy, that are coming in to invade and kind of do similar things that the Yuuzhan Vong are doing. And then there's also hints of them in the Galactic Civil War era as well. And it's also really speculated that they're going to be the main antagonists for the Ahsoka, Thrawn crossover stuff. So all I'm saying is there are a lot of parallels and a lot of similarities in the naming and then the characters that are at play in this story and what we're seeing in canon now. So I'm saying, take it or leave it.
Well, I'm
But
taking it.
it's pretty coincidental, if you know what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
So there you go. That's kind of the pre-invasion phase. All right. Here we go. The Yuuzhan Vong War was the single deadliest conflict in galactic history, claiming over 3 trillion lives. 3 trillion lives. So
That's a lot.
my math may not be correct, but that is definitely more than all of the wars in Star Wars galactic history combined. Clone Wars, Galactic Civil War, a lot of the other ones. Like 3 trillion that's a huge amount of people. And this was only over the span of a few years. So, anyways, the Yuuzhan Vong began their invasion by stirring up a war on the world of Romamul between its neighboring planet Asarian. During this time, Mara Jade Skywalker and 100 other diplomats were infected with a deadly Yuuzhan Vong disease. So this begins in 25 ABY. So keep that in mind. As a result of this, the New Republic did not take notice when the first of the invasion force made planetfall on the distant world of Helska 4 and also brought down Cernpidal's moon upon the planet, killing Chewbacca in the process and leaving the planet in pieces.
Dang, bro.
So Chewbacca dies in this series.
That's sad.
What the heck?
And he does go out in a pretty epic way because they dropped the moon on him. So
Ooh,
it was
just how that one, how Yoda.
yeah, did the Death Star, yeah. So when I was talking about how they could use the gravity, like the singularity generators on their ships, so they literally, that's one of the ways that they did that. They would use it to like basically pull.
Just like suck it and just
Yeah,
destroy the whole
they would
planet
use the.
by it.
Jeremiah, why are you laughing? Yeah, they
nothing.
would literally use the gravitational pull of the singularity generators, and they literally brought the moon down onto the planet, and it destroyed the planet. So let's keep everything in context. So they slide in and incite a war between two planets, and then which, if you're reading the Ascendancy trilogy right now, you know what I'm saying. There's some similarities. I'm not going to go into spoilers, but there's some similarities. Anyway, so they incite a war between the two planets, give 100 people plus Luke Skywalker's wife this deadly virus as a distraction. This is all a distraction.
Oh, no.
And then while the New Republic is distracted, they literally land on another planet and then pull another planet's moon into itself. The whole planet's wiped out. Like, this is like an Alderaan scale event. Like that, when I was doing my research, Serpendal's that planet for the region it was in was the most populated, like densely populated planet. It wasn't Coruscant, but it was like a really well populated planet. Everyone's dead. They're just gone. So like already, this isn't even the full invasion force. Millions of people are dead.
Dang.
Yeah.
Fun.
GG.
He says fun. The first wave.
Is that what you were talking about, the Wookiee hair, though? Because
That's what I
go
mentioned
through.
when I said Chewbacca was going to be in this. He dies.
GG.
Yeah.
So you use
So
that hair for good.
Yep.
But now it's burned. All right.
It's singed.
That's an understatement. That is big boy understatement. Anyways, so this is just the first wave. So the first wave of the invasion eventually encounters the Jedi, who were considered to be the worst of their infidels because of their control over the Force that they were stripped of. So like being a Jedi was worse than being a computer or like a droid to them. The first invasion force was eventually defeated by Luke, Han, Leia, and Lando. So they come in, they do some stuff, kill millions of people like it's nothing, and then they are defeated. But that was only the first wave of the invasion.
But how are they defeated though? Like
They just defeat him. It's a smaller
like
force.
they're resistant to lightsabers and blasters and
Yeah, but they
can
use
just
they
cut
use
through
team they
anything.
use teamwork, Jeremiah.
Oh, teamwork.
And I didn't want to get into the details of that because
It's
it's
a dirty
literally
work.
it's a book. You know, it's like part of a book, and there's just a lot.
Do they win by not fighting those they hate, but saving those they
Okay, stop,
Okay.
love?
you dummy.
Whoa!
That's what she says. That's what she says.
She says dummy.
Yes, she calls Finn a dummy.
Well,
Hold
that
on,
was
I'm pulling. I'm gonna pull up the quote right now. I'm gonna read it to you.
Oh boy!
You ready?
Oh boy!
You ready?
Here we
So
go.
people don't think I'm being mean to Jeremiah. You
And what
don't.
are you gonna do if you were wrong?
You don't
Then
win
you're being mean to Jeremiah.
by what is it, defeating those you hate.
Fighting those you hate, but saving those you love, or something.
I just typed in "you don't win" Rose quote. That's how we're gonna win, not by fighting what we hate, but saving what we love. She definitely 100% calls him a dummy, and then she passes out. No, it's a thing. It's a thing. They had family
I'll YouTube it.
Vin Diesel noises. Anyways, so they beat the first wave. All right, it's not over. It is not over. You can't stop with just killing millions of people if you're the Yuuzhan Vong. You have to go. You have to go all the way. All right. So the main invasion force followed soon after the first was defeated and quickly conquered many worlds. They just came in and just started checking them off. Bemiel, Dantooine, Durbillion, and Abora Sky were among those that were conquered. Here's the crazy thing. They found out that the pollen that made their armor weak originated in the galaxy. They identified it super quickly and realized it was native to the planet Ithor, which is Ithorians, the hammerheads. You know, you love them. They got the really powerful voices.
Yep.
They literally destroyed the planet by using firestorms and poison attacks. They just got rid of the entire like biome of the planet. It's gone. So like, we got to get rid of this pollen. All the people, all the vegetation, everything, it's just dead. So there's that. Refugees from conquered worlds became so numerous so quickly that the New Republic had to take action. In some cases, the Yuuzhan Vong were known to offer mercy to planets that offered up Jedi as prisoners. So straight up, they were offering Jedi up. They also struck a deal with the Hutts, allowing them to pass through Hutt space and attack the world of Fondor. However, they served heavy losses at the Battle of Fondor when Han Solo's cousin fired Center Point Station against them. Much of the defending force was destroyed as well. So it's a shot there in the picture. Now, do you remember Center Point Station?
Yes, because it sounded like Center Point Energy when I first heard it. So I remember.
That's fair. You remember Center Point Station was, I'm pretty sure, one of the stations for Abeloth that helped contain Abeloth as well.
Yes.
Yep. So he just fired that sucker, big old blast, took out part of the good guys anyways, but, you know, it is what it is. So it's their first big defeat, the Yuuzhan Vong. And it comes at a huge cost, too. During the conquest of the planet Doro, War Master Savong La of the Yuuzhan Vong offered the New Republic a ceasefire if they turned over every single Jedi in the galaxy. They were like, hey, we will completely stop if you just give us all your Jedi. Just give them, you got to give them all, but we'll stop. As a result, the Jedi became more hated than ever before, and many were hunted down by local governments. Some, like Jedi Masters Luke and Mara Jade Skywalker, even had warrants issued for their arrest by the New Republic.
Dang, that sucks.
Yeah. So, like, they single-handedly turned the entire New Republic against the Jedi because they were so bad at, or I guess so good at conquering worlds and killing people. 2 years into the war, the Yuuzhan Vong released reptilian hounds called Voxen. So they are force sensitive. If you've played Knights of the Old Republic, Terentatex, I don't know if that rings a bell for anybody else, but they were literally bred in a similar way to hunt down Jedi and to kill force sensitive people. But they were a new biological creation with the purpose of hunting down the Jedi. In response, oh, and by the way, if you're watching the presentation, that is some artwork of one. So it was a reptilian dog-looking thing. In response, Anakin Solo, the third child of Han and Leia, led an all-Jedi strike team to destroy the Voxen Queen, who uses the template as to clone the rest of them. The mission was successful, but many of the Jedi were killed, including Anakin himself. Jacen Solo, the other son of Han and Leia, was captured by the Yuuzhan Vong as well, which also comes into play in the Abeloth story. It's all connected. It's like it's its own expanded universe almost.
Oh, brr, brr, brr.
Brr, brr, brr. While the Voxen were being hunted, the Yuuzhan Vong launched a devastating attack on Coruscant, killing New Republic Chief of State, Borsk Frelia in the process. He was a Bothan. They renamed the planet Yuuzhan Tar and began terraforming it in the image of their lost homeworld. This terraforming was eventually sabotaged by Jacen Solo as he escaped captivity with the help of Jedi Knight Vergier. So she had been with him the whole time as a captive. And then they worked together to get out, and he sabotaged it. But they single-handedly took over. Like, they destroyed Coruscant. Like, millions of people died in this attack because they were caught so unaware. So, like, when I'm, like, that's why the death count is over 3 trillion, because they're freaking...
Coruscant alone almost.
Huh?
Coruscant alone had so many people on it.
Yeah. I mean, not everyone died, but, like, they straight just destroyed Coruscant, and then they started terraforming it, which is crazy. It's crazy to me. So, after moving its capital, I can't talk. After moving its capital to Dak, the planet Dak, and electing a new chief of state, the New Republic established the High Council, which would coordinate the Jedi's role in the war. Super interesting. At this time, the Jedi learned of Alpha Red, a biological weapon that would wipe out the Yuuzhan Vong and all of their creations created by the Republic. Republic was fighting dirty.
Mm-hmm.
The Jedi were unable to convince the New Republic to take the weapon off the table as a possibility, because they were definitely not for it. But Vergier destroyed the weapon, saving them the trouble. This strained the relationship between the Jedi and the New Republic a great deal.
What was the name of that biological strain from the Clone Wars that was on Naboo? The crazy scientist.
Yeah.
Blue something. For some reason, I'm thinking Blue Nile, but that's definitely not right. Blue Shadow virus.
I don't know.
I'm pretty
Blue
sure
Shadow
it's
virus.
I think it's Blue Shadow virus.
Blue Death. They're saying Blue Shadow.
Was that a band name?
Blue Death.
Yeah, Blue Shadow virus. Blue Death. That's a band name, Drew.
Hey, that's what the chat said. I didn't say that. I just read.
Oh.
So I'm thinking maybe they're the same.
So, Vergier, who is considered at this point to be a rogue Jedi because she's technically not a part of the New Order, even though she is a Force user, and she was a part of the Jedi Order back in the day. She's just like, nah, I'm good. We're just going to destroy that real quick. She just does it. And so that obviously puts a lot of strain on the relationship between the Jedi and the New Republic, because the New Republic created the Council specifically to coordinate what the Jedi were going to do. It wasn't like the Jedi came together and they're like, okay, let's figure this out together. It's like, no, the Republic created a council to tell the Jedi what to do. Like, that's what it was. And then the Jedi weren't having this Alpha Red thing, and they were pushing back against it, and then this rogue Jedi just goes and destroys it. So you can imagine how awkward that relationship would be between the New Republic and the Jedi at that point. All right, so we're bringing the war to a conclusion. Forced to pursue conventional warfare, the New Republic devised and successfully executed a trap for the Yuuzhan Vong around the deep core moon Ebak 9. Jaina Solo was used as bait, and she eventually killed War Master Svang La. Vergier then sacrificed herself to eliminate the rest of the Yuuzhan Vong troops that had landed on the moon. They used Jaina Solo as bait. A large part of the Yuuzhan Vong forces went in, they sprang the trap, and they were actually defeated. After the victory, Luke Skywalker put a team together to find the living planet Zonama Sekat in the unknown regions. So one of the things that happened after you remember they found the planet, they waged war on the planet for like 2 years, and then Vergier shows up, and she's like, okay, if you leave, I'll come with you. Let's just not do this anymore. So they leave. Well, the planet disappears. It's gone. And the Yuuzhan Vong find out, and they're like, well, there's no signs it was destroyed. What happened to it? It just disappears from the galaxy. So Luke is like, I need to go find this planet, because this could be a potential home for the Yuuzhan Vong, and this could actually help end the war. So he puts together a team. He goes out. He actually receives help from the Chiss and the Imperial Remnant in the unknown regions. They find the planet, and they begin negotiating with the planet in an effort to end the war. So there's a lot of stuff that happens with the Yuuzhan Vong, but basically, Zonoma Sekat ends up jumping back through hyperspace and ends up in orbit alongside Yuuzhan Tar, which is also known as Coruscant. So some things happen that really aren't like mega important, and then the planet's like, okay, I gotta go back, and it jumps through hyperspace and ends up in the same orbit, or the same orbit like cycle as Coruscant around the same star. Super interesting. The planet's just like, all right, see you guys later. It's just gone. Back in the core. So then the Yuuzhan Vong were defeated after the second battle of Coruscant. So after they won on Ebak 9, they were like, okay, we gotta take the fight to them. We gotta get Coruscant back. So they're actually defeated during the second battle of Coruscant. So things fall apart because they find out that the Supreme Overlord Shimra, who Luke ends up eventually killing during this battle, is actually a puppet. He's not actually the Supreme Overlord. He's being manipulated. No. By a force-sensitive, shamed one named Omni. So there is this orchestrator behind the scenes this whole time, and it's a shamed one, like we talked about before, that is a force-sensitive Yuuzhan Vong.
Oh, dang.
Right. So eventually it does happen again, and who originally gets killed by Jason Solo.
Oh.
Yep. So the Yuuzhan Vong are eventually defeated in the second battle of Coruscant. As a part of their surrender, the Yuuzhan Vong were forced to help rebuild Coruscant, and the now newly formed Galactic Federation of Free Alliances was able to eventually return to the planet after some time. And then if you're wondering about Zonoma Sekat, the Yuuzhan Vong eventually call that home. They're all called back to that planet, and when they get there, the planet literally jumps into hyperspace and takes them off outside of the galaxy. So they're like,
So they're not in the galaxy anymore either.
no. I think there's a remnant that's there. I'm pretty sure I read that's like they're trying to be good. And they're trying to like make amends and stuff, but like realistically, the majority of them are just gone.
So maybe I missed this, but
Yes.
how did the Yuuzhan Vong get to the Star Wars galaxy?
Over time. So you remember their
Time
galaxy?
traveling.
You remember their galaxy? They effed it up, and then they got in the ship, and were like, "Oh, we're gonna go search for a new home." And then they just sat in their ship for like a millennia.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So they were slowly like they did. So an interesting point that I missed earlier, they didn't have the ability because of the way their hyperdrives worked in the void. They didn't have the ability to do long jumps, if not no jumps at all. So it was an extremely long process to get from their galaxy to the Star Wars galaxy. And then they began like sending out scouts and kind of pushing, defenses and buttons here and there to see how much they could, actually get in and what things, what was happening. That's why they had, agents active during the Clone Wars. They're probably filling things out. And then of course they found their moment and they took it and they just kicked the door in and killed Chewbacca.
R.I.P.
Yeah. So obviously this is probably one of the biggest summaries I've done total because of how much information there is in this content in this series of books. So definitely if you want a more in-depth look, go read those new Jedi Order books. But that is a summary of the Yuuzhan Vong.
So a question that I have
Yes.
So I thought I've heard before that, yes, Palpatine created like the galactic, like the military, like the Imperial, whatever, like the Clone Wars, and then the military of the Empire was to take over the galaxy and destroy the Jedi and all that stuff. But didn't he also have a dual reasoning because he sensed that there was going to be a great threat to the galaxy and he wanted a military presence?
Yeah.
To fight.
Yeah.
So that's part of it.
Yeah.
Is it mentioned in these books then, or is that like something like
no? That was a more recent like canon type development. There is there was a lot of speculation at the beginning of the canon Thrawn novels because Thrawn talks a lot about like the reason he's joining the Empire in canon is literally to align himself with a strong military to basically be ready for this threat. And him and Palpatine both they talk about it a little bit. But at the time, we didn't know what they were talking about, and now they keep hinting at the Grisk, and so I don't know. I don't know if the Yuuzhan Vong are ever gonna become canon, but yeah, that was a thing.
So so you said, how did Thrawn know that Palpatine had this worry? Is that what you just said?
They talked about it.
So Thrawn or Palpatine just told him that, like, yeah, I had a vision.
No, Palpatine and Thrawn had several private conversations, like in the Imperial Palace, in canon.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah, that's one of the reasons why Palpatine accepted him, because he was the only, at least in canon, the only non-human flag officer. Like, one, they barely let any aliens into the military anyways, but for him to be a Grand Admiral, like that was straight up something that the Emperor allowed them to do.
This is interesting that you would think that Palpatine's fear of that invading something in the future would be more prevalent. Like, it seems like he's kept it a secret, like on the down low.
Yeah, but you have to understand, like, Palpatine was literally the most skilled Force user when it came to interpreting the Force and future events. And so I think he knew how much time he had to a certain extent.
But he couldn't sense his own demise.
No. But it is interesting. There is speculation that one of the reasons why the Yuuzhan Vong waited until,
Oh,
2 decades after the fall of the empire was because of the empire's strength.
right.
Like, that was one of the things that I read that was like, there was even a YouTube video that was like, why the Yuuzhan Vong was afraid of the empire. And it was because the empire, I mean, say what you want about stormtroopers and TIE fighter pilots and stuff, like, they were extremely powerful as a unit. And the New Republic, even in 25 ABY wasn't to that point. Like, they didn't have the military strength that the Empire did at the time. And so there's speculation that the reason why they waited is because they were intimidated by the military. I mean, even if they could have defeated them, like, I know that their losses would have been way heavier, and that might be why Palpatine was building the Death Star. Who knows? It's also worth noting, and I totally missed this earlier, the reason why they were such good fighters against Jedi is because they were completely disconnected from the Force-based attacks, aside from Force lightning, didn't work on them.
Like a force push would just be like me trying to force push you.
Right. So it literally said in the Wikipedia article, as I was researching a lot of this, like, it was like, it meant that a force push that would normally send someone flying backwards at a high speed would literally just kind of push them off balance. Like, they were that immune.
Okay.
They weren't completely immune, but it was like,
it didn't do anything.
yeah. And the one of the big advantages for them is because they operated outside of the Force, Jedi couldn't use their precognition abilities in fighting with them. So Jedi literally had to fight them one-on-one, or sometimes in great numbers, just using their martial arts skills alone. So they literally couldn't use any of the normal Force advantages of fighting that they would normally use on someone that was attuned or part of the Force, at least. So, like, from the perspective of viewing life through the Force, they literally, you couldn't see them at all. They were fighting blind, essentially, which is kind of, it's crazy to think about, but, like,
Interesting.
it literally took the Jedi's greatest advantage away from them, which I never thought we'd see. But yeah, cool stuff. Really interesting enemy for sure, and definitely brought the most death and destruction for sure.
Cool.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for the presentation.
You're so welcome.
We barely scratched the surface of this too.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff there. Trust me. So go check it out. You know what you should also go check out?
Cufflinks.com.
Cufflinks.com. Yes, sir. So we talked about them a little bit at the beginning of this video, but the lovely people at Cufflinks are also the second sponsor of today's episode. So let's take a quick break before we dive into voicemail time and take a listen to a word about Cufflinks.com. What's up, everyone? Andrew here with a word from the sponsor of today's episode, Cufflinks.com. If you didn't know, Cufflinks.com is the premium accessories marketplace, and they offer a wide range of products, including but not limited to ties, cufflinks, jewelry, and much more. The awesome thing about Cufflinks.com is that they've partnered with popular brands like Star Wars to bring you exclusive, officially licensed products. Their products are designed in a way that's great looking and fun, which means you can support your favorite fandom and look good doing it. Want to snag something awesome for yourself or someone else? Try using the code EMPIRE20, that's with a capital E and no space at checkout, to receive 20% off your next order with no minimum purchase. Still not convinced? Well, Cufflinks.com offers outstanding customer service, 1 to 5 day delivery anywhere in the United States, and free shipping on all orders over $100. Want to feel like 1,000,000 credits in your next outfit? Head on over to Cufflinks.com. Do it.
Do it.
Did we do it? Jeremiah, did we do it?
No, we didn't.
It happened simultaneously in my ears.
Oh,
It was delayed for me.
It was delayed for me, so.
Great. Okay. Well, anyways. Yeah, go check out Cufflinks.
Yeah.
What?
Oh, what was I say? We were giving away that mystery box, but so that's mystery box is normally $50 and you get $200+ worth of product. But with that promo code, it's only $40. So this is your opportunity to get multiple items from cufflinks.com for super cheap.
Yeah.
So this
And
is your best.
here's the thing. Here's the thing about the mystery boxes. It's got multiple things in it. So you just open it, and you've got gifts for multiple people in your family. You pick what you want, and then you're like, oh hey.
Drew is like, what is he talking about? He was like, oh, I saw it in Drew's face. Like,
What?
kidding. Anyway,
What did I miss?
You're making
Nothing.
fun of me, or making fun of Drew by saying what I just said.
No,
Yeah.
I actually wasn't that time.
Did you not hear what I said?
It worked.
No, it doesn't matter. Let's just
Oh god.
let's just move. Let's just move forward. Okay. Move forward into voicemail time. It's everyone's favorite time, and it might be because of
Our transition.
what we're about to hear. So let's just go ahead and roll it and bask in the glory that is Drew's angelic voice.
It's voicemail time.
Yes, it is. Yes,
Awesome.
it is. So we have
How many do we got tonight?
we have 3.
Ooh,
We have one from Cody, one from Jerica, one from Michael.
awesome.
Yep. So let's start with the one from Cody. And we might get a replay of what we just heard. So let's take a listen.
It's voicemail time. Hey guys, Cody here. I was just had a question. If you could have the ultimate Star Wars team, who would you want as your leader, the brains of your team, your muscle, and your sidekick Joker? Thanks for the great podcast, and don't forget, join the Discord.
Hey, how on a scale from 1 to 10 lightsabers, Drew? How was that? It's voicemail time.
It was a solid 8.5.
Ooh.
Maybe we should put
I don't think it
clip
could
out
have-
Drew and put the
Oh.
new one in.
Oh,
Oh,
put Cody in
wow.
there. Immortalize
man.
Cody in song.
Ooh. All right. Anyway,
Love you
But what
too,
makes him
Jeremiah.
dangerous? What?
What?
No,
What?
no, that's nothing. Anyways, so we have a team. We have the brains, the bronze, and then like a sidekick.
and you said a leader, right?
Yeah.
So there are 4 people.
And a
Leader.
Joker. You said Joker too.
I thought it was like
Yeah,
sidekick
slash Joker. Like
yeah,
Oh.
So leader, brains,
brawn,
brawn.
sidekick. Okay.
All right. Ooh.
Who wants to go first? I'm thinking. Who wants to go?
All right. Leader Thrawn,
Okay.
muscle Zeb,
Okay.
Okay.
what was the other one?
Brains and sidekick.
Brains. Well, maybe the brain should be Thrawn.
Yeah, I was gonna say, dude.
Yeah, the brain should
That's
be
what my
Thrawn.
brains. My
Leader will
brains.
be Ahsoka, and the sidekick will be Jar Jar.
So your whole team just falls apart at that point because
Oh,
he
Darth
wrecks
Jar
it.
Jar.
Dark Jar Jar.
Oh, so my leader is gonna be Kanan. Brains Thrawn, easy. Brawn, General Grievous.
What? Really?
He's a strong guy. He's got 4 arms, dude.
And he's metal.
Yeah. Fine. I'll
it's your
no,
team.
no,
You
no,
can be
no.
how-
No,
you
Jeremiah
do
was like,
you.
what?
You do
What?
you.
No. I'm gonna change my bronze. Who would I pick?
Jar Jar for everything.
That's a terrible idea. Brawn.
Chad said.
What's really cool and really strong? Dark Trooper?
No.
Heavy
What?
Mando. Heavy Mando.
Heavy? No. I need more
Wait.
bronze than that.
A Rancor.
Ooh.
Yeah, that could be an option.
Good luck controlling that.
Pong
though.
Krell
Ooh.
could be kind of volatile, but could be a good addition. Yeah, I'll go Pong Krell. So we've got Kanan, Thrawn, Pong Krell, sidekick, Chopper.
I knew you were gonna say that.
That could be your Braun right there, Chopper.
I mean, it could be my brains too. It could be the leader. He could be the whole team, carry the whole
Oh.
team on his back. All right, Jeremiah.
But when I heard leader, I automatically just thought of Anakin, so I'm gonna go with Anakin.
Ooh, don't let him around your kids though. He'll kill them, and he'll betray you and bring an empire up in your place.
Yeah, but
No,
that was
he's
Vader.
talking about little Annie.
No, I don't think he is.
I'm saying Clone Wars.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Anakin. Brain. I'll come back to that one. Braun, I was thinking like Chewie.
Ooh.
Sidekick. Maybe Chopper is a good answer, but I'll probably go with Babu Frick because he could help out with the droids.
Okay.
Repair
And the comic
droids.
relief.
Yep.
He'll lift your spirits.
Yep. And
Yeah.
Brain. I'm trying to think of someone who's.
Drawn.
Oh, what's the those droids?
Oh, Hondo. You want Hondo as your brains?
No.
Oh.
What's the commander droids?
Tactical droids?
Tactical droids. Yes.
Yeah.
There's my brain right there.
He said, "There's my brain, a computer." Dude, we had some good teams. We had a few really good teams in the chat. So Daddy Pop says, Brains Thrawn, Muscle Maul, Sidekick Ventress, Leader Palpatine. That is an OP team.
Yeah.
Right there. Will says Jar Jar for everything. There you go, Drew. DeView Twist says Savage for Braun. Jerica says Chopper is the team. DeView Twist also says Leia for leader. Yeah, that's a good. She was a really good leader.
Hera would be a good leader too.
Oh, she would be. Yeah. Yeah. How about Rey?
She's a psychic.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I was waiting for that. Brains Tarkin. Yeah, Tarkin was a really good tactician too. Yeah. He's a smart guy. He gets overshadowed a little bit. But
Boba for bronze. Boba Fett.
you should have done Boba Fett.
That's what I said. I should have.
I'm surprised you didn't have like a whole Mandalorian team where you're
I was
like
thinking
Boba's
about
the
it.
leader, or Boba's the brains, Din's the leader, Heavy's the brawn, sidekick, some other Mandalorian.
Ooh, another sidekick. Omega would be a good sidekick.
Oh, Omega would be a really good sidekick. Yeah.
Or the child.
Grogu. Nah, he's just dead weight.
Dang.
What?
Anyways,
Remember, I told you I'm over the Grogu gimmick.
Yes,
Like I'm
know
over it.
you're on to the other little
Bigger
kid.
and better things.
oh,
in Star
Stuffy
Wars.
Leviathan says leader Kit Fisto, great choice. Brain Maul, Muscle Savage, sidekick Ahsoka.
This is broken.
Will says C-3PO for everything, and the opponent just gets attacked with dread. The odds, just the odds all over. Plo Koon would be a good leader too. Really underrated Jedi there. All right. Well, Cody, that was a really good question. Thank you. Let's move on to Jericho's voicemail. You guys ready?
Yes.
Let's hit it.
Hey guys, it's Jerica popping in with another question this week. I was just wondering if there was one Star Wars moment that you could relive from anything from the movies, a trailer, or the shows, what would it be? Mine would probably be the I am your father line because I was too young to remember the first time I saw that, and I really wish I would remember my reaction. Thanks for everything you guys do, and may the force be with you.
And may the force be with you, Jericho. Thank you for sending that in. It's a really good question. One that I don't think I've ever thought about before.
I've thought about that. Like the whole Vader, I am your father scene. Like I just grew up knowing that scene.
Yeah.
Like it was
Dude, same. I was just gonna say that. Yeah.
I was like, so it's like I've thought about that. Like it's all the big shock and awe that people originally had, and it's like,
yeah.
Oh, okay.
It wasn't a
So-
surprise at all for me either. It's kind of like we knew it.
So are you saying you wish you could relive that like in real time, like in the theaters for the first
That'd
time?
be dope.
Yeah, I think that's like what the question is, like to
Oh, like go
relive
back.
and like
Yeah.
relive that moment where you see something. So
Well,
That
you
would be-
can't relive it if you weren't
Yeah,
alive.
I don't think that's the question. It's just like remember that part where you watch Star Wars. What would be that scene that you would want to like relive again? Mine would probably be seeing Maul and Solo. I still remember that whole day, and I think that day was like one of
no,
the
I
best.
know your favorite one when Kylo Ren dies.
Oh
No.
yeah, and you
Because
clapped.
you said you jumped up and
yeah.
clapped
I
in the
did,
theater, and
but it wasn't as intense as when I saw Maul, and I was like freaking out.
I was
like
too.
everyone was. So I think that was like for me, that was my Vader moment live. Like yeah.
Yeah, I think mine would be the opening crawl of The Force Awakens. I know. Okay,
That's
okay. I saw your
yes.
face. I saw your
no,
face,
no,
Drew.
I get it. I get it. I get it.
But like, I hadn't seen a Star Wars movie. The last time I had seen a Star Wars movie in theaters, it didn't mean the same thing to me.
yeah, I think I agree with you.
You know,
I would probably pick the same day too.
and it was like what 2015, 2014, 15.
15.
Yeah, 2015. Like, and I was like mostly an adult at that point, and was like, I had a completely new appreciation for everything Star Wars, and that was a magical moment. Like I straight up teared up a little bit, and then like everyone in the theater cheered. So
Yeah, I agree. That I would want to relive that.
either that or 100% I would relive the entire production of the Minnesota Orchestra with Empire Strikes Back, because that was one of the best musical moments of my entire life. It was gorgeous, like absolutely gorgeous. So yeah.
I still like the final Force Awakens trailer, like the full length one. Like still really love. I also go back and watch that trailer because it's just like the anticipation of that trailer. And
Are you talking about the one where he says, "Chewie, we're home"?
no, the final trailer, which is the only full length trailer we got, which is the one where it opens up with Rey opening the thing.
Yeah, sliding down.
Oh
the
yeah,
thing.
yeah.
So that's the only full length trailer we got, and that was the final trailer that they released, which was 2 months before the movie came out. And it's
I watched
like,
that thing like 4 million times.
I did too. So
like literally 4 million of the views are just Drew.
Yeah.
And like, so I even like once in a while I was going like watch that trailer, and it's just like I still kind of have like the anticipation, like what is Star Wars going to be in the future? Like I still have
LOL.
those hopes, but
You go back and wish you could just change the whole
You know
thing.
what though? We've had a good hiatus of not seeing a movie. I
Yeah.
think like when the new movie comes out, we're gonna feel something similar to that
Yeah.
again.
it's never going to happen.
As
There's
long
never
as
gonna
it's
be-
good.
There's never going to be a Star Wars movie again.
So
What?
Jerica, oh gosh.
How
It's
dare
already been
you.
delayed again. They've already scrapped Rogue Squadron,
Well, it's because nobody really wanted that.
Let's be real. That's
and
good.
then so like that's being
Give
replaced
us
by
a
something-
High Republic movie.
That's not going to happen.
by Taika Waititi.
Yeah.
Who would play your Stellan Gios in live action? Your boy.
I'd have to think about that. Because
Andrew
like
Garfield.
what? No, it would not be Andrew Garfield.
You don't like
I
Andrew
know.
Garfield?
Look, I know that there's this like huge Andrew Garfield like craze right now because he was in that movie
Tick,
about
Tick,
the
boom.
yeah.
Oh,
I know.
so good.
Look,
Go watch it, go watch
I
it.
like Andrew Garfield as an actor. Don't like this isn't about him.
Best Spider-Man. Anyways,
I-
I'll leave that there.
Did you say best Spider-Man?
Let's not.
gonna
We're not
leave
going there.
that
Whoa,
We're not- no, no,
dude!
no.
Whoa! When we start our
Just gonna
Spider-Man podcast,
leave
we'll
that
talk about
All
there.
right.
that.
Yeah, we're not doing that. That's not true at all. But
Just gonna leave that there.
who would play Stellan?
So how old is Stellan?
Like it's so funny because like I feel like Ewan McGregor would play a good Stellan. He's like that kind of character, but like Who right now? Like
So
who's
how old is he in the books? He's in his 40s.
He's
Kinda?
probably in his late 30s, early 40s.
Oh.
Who would it be? Who's a good? I'd have to think on that. I'd have to
Joseph Gordon-Levitt.
stop. No. I'd have to go.
Smith?
I'd have to go. Did you say Will Smith?
Why not?
I mean, why not? Honestly, but it would be a complete different vibe. Completely different
It would
vibe.
be awesome. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a good question. That would be a fun episode. Us picking the cast of a High Republic.
Oh, that would be really fun.
Movie.
Ooh, that'd be cool.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Sweet. Yeah. Now I'm thinking.
all these crazy.
Yeah. Now I'm thinking about it. Oh, okay. Okay. So I looked down and Jerica had said, okay, I love Stellan, but hear me out. Live action Elzar would be Richard Madden.
Who's that?
Okay. I looked him up. Jerica, 150%. 150%. That is perfect. That is
What's his
absolutely
name?
perfect. Richard Madden. 150%. I'm on board for that. 150%. Yeah. That's a good one. Ah, man.
Maybe.
I really like Elzar as a
I can
character
see it.
too. What'd you say, Jeremiah?
I said I could see that maybe.
Oh,
I
okay.
looked up pictures of this Richard guy.
She says he's in Eternals, and I'm like, wait, no, that's Elzar. All right. So let's move on to our final voicemail from Michael. You guys ready?
Yes.
Wow. I was please hold your excitement, everyone.
He is in Turtles. You're right.
In Turtles?
In Internals.
In Turtles?
Hey, okay, come on.
I like turtles. I was referencing. It doesn't matter. Here's Michael's voicemail.
Hello there, this is Michael from the Discord. I got one quick question for you guys. If you could pick one force ability to have in real life, what would you choose? Thank you guys for everything you do. May the force be with you.
And may the force be with you, Michael. Thank you so much for that.
I'm with you.
Telekinesis.
I think we've done this before.
Yeah,
I know. I think what we did is, what would we give the other person? in the
Yeah.
podcast?
We did the other person.
But never for
Yeah.
ourselves.
I 100%.
Oh, yeah, because I gave Jeremiah force running, so he doesn't have to take the bus.
Oh, yeah. I
And he was
100%
so mad.
would do telekinesis.
Telekinesis.
I
That's
just want to be able to sit on the couch
Talk to your wife.
and not have to get up. It's like, oh, the remote's across the room. Skirt. Grab it with the force. Or like someone's parked too close to me, just skirt, just push it out of the way. Yeah, just pick it up and just throw it.
flip
Yeah. Yeah, it would be telekinesis for me. Because like I want to be like, yeah, force lightning, but I would never use that practically unless I was a villain.
Unless you're camping and you're like, I want to charge my phone. Zip. All right, there you go.
Zip.
Snap
He
it.
said zip.
Snap
Okay,
it.
someone needs to go make an edit of all of the force lightning scenes in Star Wars where it's just Drew going zip as the sound.
Yeah, I think I would do that too. I like telekinesis. I'd probably do
I
that.
just don't think it'd be practical, like enough, like for me.
Wait, what?
You can literally make the ham cut itself.
Yeah, you could just be sitting
You're gonna
there.
sit there.
So I'm just gonna stand there and do nothing and just
No,
watch
you
the
would
slicer go. Like
you'd be able to sit
Oh.
and look at Instagram on your flip phone and then
Oh,
just cut ham.
that's true. You don't have a phone to distract you.
You could take books. You could start reading Star Wars books.
You could work more.
but I can hold
so
it in
you
my
could-
hand and like just flip the page. Like why do I need to like just and flip it? Like I don't know. I still think
I'm
it's
just trying to
practical,
help you,
like,
Jeremiah.
I think I would need something that would help me like actually like be better. Like telekinesis, you're not like improving yourself, you're just being lazy. So
Depends.
don't know
But
about that.
So,
if there's
wait,
a
so you just
cart-
said sit on your couch all day and say, "Oh, there's a remote."
okay,
How
that was
that's more
Andrew's
lazy than
example.
anything.
That wouldn't be
What
the
if-
only
what if-
application.
Yeah, what if there's a
Gosh.
crash and you save someone from a crash?
Right. There's so much you can do with telekinesis.
Yes.
I don't know. I'm thinking like
Like
just
my wife
read
is
people's
short.
minds.
Okay, listen, my wife is okay. That's dangerous. But my wife is short, and she has to use stools to get up to the very top of the cabinets. I just lift her up, or I
Or
can
you
just
could
grab
just
th-
grab it
things for her.
yourself
Yeah,
from the
Yeah.
shelf. Like,
yeah.
Or like for me, I could rock my baby
Oh,
without actually getting out of bed.
Or
yeah,
change
that's
the diaper from a distance. You don't have to smell.
Ooh, change
That-
the
I
diaper
guess
from
that
a
makes sense, but
distance. Yes,
I'm
So-
still gonna go with reading minds.
that's scary.
yeah. You can't. No one. But you can't read minds with the Force, anyways.
Yeah, you can.
You just know it's reading intentions and emotions. There's different. We've actually had this conversation before. You and I,
True.
literally, Jeremiah, you and I have had this conversation before, for sure, at least one other time. But you can't actually read minds.
I don't. But that's not what we see in the movies and stuff. Like,
No,
they know exactly what they're saying.
no, not what they're saying. He's
Or
okay.
I mean, thinking. Sorry.
Yeah, he knows what their intentions are. He can, like, for example, Snoke can sense Kylo's intentions and
Wait.
what?
No, I was just thinking out because he couldn't like see that he was gonna get stabbed. He didn't read that part of his mind when he was planning on doing that.
Yeah,
But there's like you see stuff like your thoughts betray you, and like your what was Kiadi Moody? He's like
No, because if he could read
your
minds, then
your thoughts are on your mother.
yeah, but it's not like
It's
reading explicitly reading thoughts though.
it's
Like,
just
they
like
get-
they could feel their thoughts. Like it's not like the same.
Yeah, you're not
thing.
reading the thoughts. It's
The
like
end
feeling
result
the
is the
thoughts.
same though.
Yeah, but if you're
I
talented
mean,
enough, you
it
can just
depends
hide
on
it.
what you want to use it. Like you're gonna
Wait,
be
what?
able
Okay,
to
what
walk
would you
into a
use it
room
for?
and see, oh, this girl does like
To,
me.
to,
You'll
to
be
know
able to,
people's intentions.
yeah.
Okay,
So
but
I guess
how would
in
that benefit you?
Jeremiah's-
I don't
How
know.
would that
I think if I could understand people's thoughts better, like I could understand their points. Because sometimes people are terrible communicators because they don't know how to say things, but like they just can't go from their mind to their mouth.
Dude, all I'm saying is that's what you want to use it for, but then you start feeling things and you realize how messed up the world is, and it would
True,
probably
you just get
suck.
But then I
depressed.
could help people better because I could understand their deepest thoughts and
Daddy
feelings and
Pumps.
sorrows.
It's like a vibe, bro. Yeah, they're just feeling the vibes, man. Through the
Yeah.
force vibes. You know?
I'm sticking with that.
Okay, so we got 2 telekinesis votes and a force vibe vote.
Or no, I'm gonna change mine. Force healing.
Oh, see, now
Ooh,
that-
see,
There, that's
now
my answer. Force
That's a
healing.
good
now
one.
you're actually doing something good.
Yep.
Yeah,
There it is,
now
force healing.
the Empire Radio podcast has transitioned from being lazy and rocking your baby to actually impacting the world in
Yep.
a positive way. So that's a good one. That's a good one. All right. Well, this was a good this is a really good opportunity to make an announcement. So in 2 weeks,
Less than 2 weeks.
less than 2 weeks, but 2 episodes from now. So we have next week and the one after next week. So it's going to be, the schedule is going to be different, but we're going to talk about that in a second. But we are doing a special episode called The 12 Voicemails of Christmas. Now that was a chat. That was Jericho, wasn't it?
Jerica said that.
Yeah, so Jerica said that in the chat a few episodes ago, and I loved it. I was like, we need to do the 12 voicemails of Christmas. So all year, listen, all year, we have been asking, well, challenging, I should say, leaving it open, leaving the option on the table, however you want to phrase it, for people to send in 12 voicemails. And if that happens, we have offered every time to scrap what we're doing, and we're just going to dedicate the whole thing to voicemails. So you had like 3 really good examples of voicemails that spawned whole mini conversations. Those were your examples of great voicemail questions and conversation topics. Doesn't have to be about Star Wars. But here's the thing.
Preferably not Star Wars.
Actually, preferably not. Yeah. I mean, you can think of it kind of as an ask us anything, but it's a little bit less formal than that. So here's what we're doing. our goal, we're not planning anything for that night. Okay? Except for voicemail conversations. So if you hear us talking about stuff like who the best Spider-Man is and like going off the wall and just having natural conversations rather than like a presentation or something more structured. If you really enjoy that content, send your voicemails in. You've had some good examples during this episode. We are looking for at least 12. Because if we don't, it's going to be a really short episode. If we have more than 12, just because it's called the 12 Voicemails of Christmas, if we have more than 12, great. That's great. But we are looking for at least 12 voicemails for that episode. So things are getting really, really busy for the holidays. So the schedule for that episode is going to be a little different. It's not going to be on a Tuesday. So it's either going to be like the live stream, at least the recording of it. It'll still go live. The audio and the video will still go live on that Tuesday before Christmas. But the live stream for that will either be Sunday afternoon, the 19th, or potentially the following day on the 20th, Monday night. We got to get some scheduling things down and solidify when we're having the live stream. But just know that the posting date for the audio version and the video version will be on the 21st.
Tuesday the 21st.
Tuesday the 21st, as per usual. But please send in your voicemails if you haven't already. If you have, send in more. We would prefer to have some variety so that we don't have the same person asking all of the questions. But think of questions, think of things you want to know from us, or think of things that you think would get us stirred up into a conversation. Yeah. It's literally going to be a pre-Christmas moment just to have fun and just chill.
With everyone. Just so be clear, can they start sending those in now, or do they have to wait until after Tuesday? No.
You can. Okay. But here's the thing.
Started out with this is 4 to 12 days of Christmas.
And it just because I know you've got a minute, you're limited to a minute. I know that you can't put a whole like paragraph as to why you're sending it in. Just be like, hey, this is for the 12 voicemails of Christmas, and then go. Because when I'm fielding voicemails for the episodes and I'm downloading and prepping them, like for example, next week, it will help me say, oh no, I'm just going to put that aside and we're going to wait. So you can start sending them in right now. But again, the goal, if you want to give us a Christmas present, 12 voicemails, if not 24. Ooh. Just keep in mind that I can only hold like, I don't know how many in the actual soundboards. I'm gonna have to do some shuffling every once in a while, but it's gonna be a lot of fun. So, we're doing it. The 12 voicemails of Christmas. So again, that is going to be for the episode that will either be recorded on the afternoon of the 19th, Sunday the 19th, or the evening of the 20th. Still going to go live on the 21st as usual. But if you want to be a part of that episode and be there live for the conversation, I guarantee you it's going to be a lot of fun.
We'll announce the exact date either on our Instagram stories or even a post, and then we'll make sure we do it in our Discord. So you want to make sure you're either of those places.
And
the exact live day if you want it live.
And we'll solidify it before the recording for next week too. So in next week's episode, if you're listening to the episode, you'll hear the date in that as well. So
cool.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. So really quickly, if you do want to connect with us on social media, if you haven't already, or you want to monitor the news for that, head over to links with 2 I's, links.co/Empire Radio. Type that into your browser on your phone, whatever you want to do, on your computer, on your tablet, on your Kindle, on your Nintendo DS with limited internet capabilities from back in the day. Whatever you want to surf the web on, just go type that in. Or that link is in our Instagram bio, the About Us section, and our Twitch page, twitch.tv/Empire Radio. And also is below the description of every single one of the audio versions of the episodes. So click that. It'll take you to a landing page. There's a link to leave a voicemail. There's a link to join the Discord. All of our social media, everything's there. So go check that out if you want to connect with us. And Daddy Palps, you're the man. He just put it in the Twitch chat too. So if you're watching us live right now, click on that. There you go. All right.
And don't forget to check out needlesslynerdynetwork.com.
Yes.
For more nerdy content.
Yep. Yep, we're part of that network. It's great. They're great people, and there's a lot of nerdy stuff happening. So if you like nerdy things, just go be needlessly nerdy. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Anything else, boys?
Nope, that's it.
No.
Awesome. Well, you have been listening to another fantastic episode of the Empire Radio Podcast. I'm Andrew.
I'm Jeremiah.
I'm Drew.
And may the force be with you.
Always.
Always.